Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and I'm joined by a regular co-host, Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben, and indeed, hello, everyone. It's been a hot minute, actually, not a hot minute, much more recently than we usually record. Say hello.
It's been a scalding hot minute, and today we are joined by a very, very special guest. Ash Millman is a professional horror nerd, presenter, writer, video producer at PlayStation Access, and voice actor on the No Sleep podcast. Welcome to the show, Ash.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and hang out with horror.
Yes. The best ever hangout you can have, right?
Why do we never say that? We never say that.
Free. That one's free.
Great.
Don't worry.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna write that one down. How the devil are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm very excited to talk about our film. But yeah, otherwise just good, feeling spooky. I know it's like March or April or whatever. I don't even know what time it is. It's all gone. It's merged into one, but I'm still
Halloween's
feeling
right around the
spooky.
corner. It's coming up, right?
Yeah.
It'll be here before you know it.
Would you say that spooky is a state of mind?
Yes, I think it is a lifestyle. It's a choice, you know. You've got to live your true spooky self.
Yeah. I get it. I appreciate it. I respect it. So yeah, great choice of movie today. A first time watch for me and a first time watch for you as well, Andy, right?
Right. I watched it just today, so it's fresh in my mind.
Resonating in your ears and eyeballs.
I'll give you an update as to whether I have any nightmares about horrid little boys spilling milk in my house tonight.
Jesus Christ,
just the regular.
Or getting bashed about in the bathroom. Ever such tile damage. We'll come to it.
Tile damage. Ash, what is your relationship with this film? Why did you choose? Did I give you an option of a few films and you chose this one from it, or did you suggest it? Because I can't remember. I apologize.
You gave me an option and I selected this one, but my relationship with this film is I've seen it before. I really like it. I think it's super duper scary. I think it's one of the scariest films I've seen in recent years. Like for me, it's up there with Host as my like top actual frightening films.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I remember watching it as kind of like a hidden gem like a couple of years ago with the old Shudder subscription and thinking, oh my God, like why is nobody like screaming about this? And then it did get a bit, it had its like online hype, but I feel like it's faded away a bit now, so we need to bring it back. And also watching it, just to jump right in before we actually get to the proper talking, one of the scenes was so like referenced in Smile as well.
I was saying to Ben, just
you
before
said the
we
same
started,
thing.
I was like, Smile has got a lot to answer for.
Exactly, which was just a really nice little like, yes, the smile people, they know, they've done it.
What they've done there is they've used a great directorial technique known as copying to lift what's a really good scene from this movie.
There's so many good scenes in this movie, though, like so many different types of scare. I feel like that's what sometimes if you're watching a movie and the scares are kind of like the same sort of scares, it can become a tad predictable, perhaps even a bit like exhausting in a way. But the fact that all of the scares are so different from each other, it really does keep you on your tippy toes.
Oh yes, tippy toes indeed.
Ash, you've called it out. How much value are we getting from those Shudder subscriptions recently? I feel like they're on, dare I say, a golden age that'll never end. They're coming out with all the good stuff for one of the cheaper subscriptions that we get as well.
It's crazy. Like I love Shudder. I love everything about Shudder. Like I would be a walking, like, you know, that guy who gets like tattoos on his forehead, like sells space on his face. Like I would do that for Shudder. I would put the tattoo on my face of Shudder. For them for free, not even for a paid domain slot.
For free as
well.
Just
cover your subscription. That would be all right.
Yeah, that would be it. That's fine.
Don't devalue yourself. Take something.
I'd do the same, but I'd go for like a tramp stamp. Just above
that would
be
nice.
Just above the old whale tail. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
So you know where we are, Shudder. Get in touch. Contact details are in the show notes. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where I originally saw. I'd heard of Terrified. I'd seen the poster. I'd like heard a few whispers on the wind about it, but I didn't actually see any of it until I was watching the 101 scariest movie moments on Shudder, and then that turned up, and I was like, oh my God, that's like little fella. What's his name? Not sure what his name is. Old milk waster.
That's his name.
That's little dude, wasted the
Serves
milk.
him right, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, wow. But to be fair, watching 101 Scariest Movie Moments, despite the fact that I'd seen quite a lot of them, a whole new watch list kind of came from that as well, including this one. Yeah, so this was pretty special.
Oh, I'm glad that there's
fantastic
like
choice.
features like that to kind of highlight everything. And Shudder doing one again, just on the face, on the cheek, on the collarbone, all the prime zones, I would put it. But yeah, I'm really glad that we're getting a chance to chat about it, because I feel like this kind of came out. God, I'm trying to remember like what I was doing at that point in time. I was either not born yet. I don't know. I think it was when I was at What Culture, and I think maybe it made into a few lists. I didn't get to have a big chat about it anyway, so I'm excited to do that, especially since you guys have watched it so recently as well.
Yeah, looking forward
definitely.
to this one, and it's a nice pick, because we cover the best and worst of horror, and sometimes I love the worst ones as well. But it's nice to get something which is genuinely, I think, really effective and really good.
I don't think we cover enough of the worst ones, Andy. I'll be totally honest with you. I feel like I want more utter trash to not enjoy.
All right, you've said it, Ben. I mean, I have got us spoilers for next month. We haven't released it, but we are doing Moontrap next month, which isn't bad, but some people might argue. And we did Deadly Friend a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
oh my goodness,
I missed that one though. I did watch the film.
Of course, you missed Deadly Friend, BB's Finest Hour.
BB's Finest Hour. It was just. Sorry, go on, Ash.
I was gonna say, have you done Troll 2 yet? That's the best one.
No.
That's
we've done some pretty bad. I've said we've put the worst ones we've done. Maybe Alone in the Dark, the old Christian Slater one. Yeah. Anything.
I just feel bad for it.
Don't feel bad for
what's his name?
Uwe Boll, is that his name? Don't feel bad for him. You can't
wish it was good.
You can't slay it in public though, because the director will call you out for a boxing match, because that actually happened, didn't it?
It's happened.
Wanted to fight.
I'd take it.
Ben has long-standing beef with the director of Doom Annihilation.
Long-standing beef. Long-standing beef that I immediately backed out of, because I was like, I don't want any of this fire coming from this guy.
For those that
oh my God, you caught some heat.
Oh yeah, for anyone who wasn't there for the discourse, Ben gave it was a negative review, but it wasn't like everyone who did this should be ashamed. It was like it wasn't really for me. There were only really 3 types of demons, and the director messaged him as 4 types of demons actually, Ben. So how hard
4
do you want
types
to
of demons actually, Ben, or are you blind? Are you blind? And I went,
fucking tension, right?
But
I love that energy. That would be me if I directed a film. I'd be like, excuse me, like there is another demon. If you're gonna review it right.
Yeah. Roy and Ken the same character to you, Ben? Are
it
they
was
the
awful.
same? Are you? I think you'll find the differences are numerous.
He came at me for that, but he didn't come at me for saying the film looked like it had been shot in a laser quest, which it did look like it had been shot in a laser quest. All tight little corridors.
To that, he was
me,
like,
it sounds like you deserve this. Yeah, you sounds like you deserve this. I'm on his side.
10-year-olds coming around the corner. Whoa! Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, I didn't tag him. No, I just wrote the name of the film in my tweet. If I tagged the director, I'm calling him out. So I didn't deserve the heat.
Yeah, he was doing a Ricky Gervais, and he was like googling his name, looking it up, saying, "Right,
what a
who's got business with me?" But yeah, Ben's amended it. His rating on his letterbox now is a glowing 5 stars.
Oh yeah,
it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not the first time ever. It has happened a few times, but I think it's because I'll just not make my reviews public anymore. Just hide away, hide my true self.
It's not used to it being male on the internet. It's not often that people call you out for your opinion. I got similar grief for liking the Resident Evil series on Netflix, and was like, "You fucking what, Andy? You think that's good, do you?"
You think that's good, do you? Do you like gruel? Is that what you like? You like gruel, do you? Because that's what that is. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Sorry.
Yeah, I did like it. So in your face, that guy.
I love gruel, and I love Resident Evil as well. The whole film series I thought was well. I haven't seen the last one because I was told it wasn't as good as the rest. So I just love goofy, campy.
As good as sorry.
I really liked them. I thought they were just like the energy of the Resident Evil spot on.
Is the last one, Ben? You're served by memory here. Is the last one where Captain Friendzone, well, Sir Friendzone from Game of Thrones has got Sherlock Holmes fight powers? Is that the one?
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He's
Yeah.
got predictive fight powers, so like he sees all of the potential moves that Alice is going to throw. Like he sees she goes to do an uppercut, she goes to do like a little leg sweep. He sees it all happening before it happens, and then he just jabs her in the neck, and then she's like, "How did you do that?" And he goes,
"I'm Sherlock Holmes now."
I'm Sherlock Holmes now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've got to watch it now. You've got to complete it. You're on the way.
Discombobulate.
Yeah, I'm
so ready.
I went to see the last chapter, the final chapter, at the cinema, I believe. And I remember, I think it had like a billion cuts in it. Like the editor was just like going, shit, this fight scene we need to see it from every angle possible, because otherwise people won't know what's going on. Just gonna edit covering.
We can't bring up Resident Evil, the film series, without the biggest positive that you can take away from that. And I've said it every time, Ben. Paul W.S. Anderson, he loves his wife so much. He thinks he's
such a wife guy.
Yeah.
He loves his wife.
I think she's brilliant. Yeah. You've got that sort of advocacy made their relationship go from strength to strength. They've got a long future ahead of them. Quickly Google to make sure they're still together.
Many more Resident Evil films they can make.
Indeed.
We did do a Resident Evil franchise ranking episode, Andy, didn't we? So if anyone listening wants to know our thoughts on the franchise as a whole, then please go and track that down.
We've done the difficult work of finding the precise order of roughly 2.5 star movies and going, how's the order of these work?
Exactly.
But I do love them. I will stand by the fact that the first one with better lighting is Aliens. But all that aside, you've mentioned Resident Evil, Ben. It would be criminal not to segue into the fact that at time of recording, tomorrow, Resident Evil 4, don't think about it being out in 2005 originally. That was only a few years ago. It's out tomorrow. We all excited?
So it's a great segue into Resident Evil because, of course, Ash, Spooky Ash, as we've, in terms of your credentials, you've already mentioned What Culture Horror, which I was going to mention, and now PlayStation Access, where your finger's always been on the pulse for horror movies, horror games, just an advocate of horror in general, it seems. And I know from watching loads of PlayStation Access content all the time that you've played Resident Evil 4. Have you played it loads? We played it enough.
The new one?
The new one. The brand new one.
I haven't played it loads. I've played it a healthy amount, which is every night until midnight since that we got the code in. No, I've been playing it. I haven't actually, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't actually finished it yet. I'm very close. I've been trying to do it properly and seriously so that I see everything and get all the treasures and do all the things. So it's taken me a big long time. It's quite a chunky game, which I was very impressed with. But it's amazing. It's so good. I've spent so much time in the photo mode just taking pictures of little creeps everywhere I go, like the Regenerators and or the man with the things. I don't want to say any names just in case it's like different to the original and then spoils it, but the Regenerators are from the original, so I could say that.
By the time this episode's out, it'd be probably, the game would have been out for like a few days anyway, so
there we go.
If people haven't completed it by then what are they playing at,
It's too late, sorry.
Very, very excited. Enjoyed the demo. Had a good time with the demo, but kind of like stopped myself after maybe like the fourth playthrough because I don't want to overdo it. I still want that village section to be effective.
I don't know, Ben. That feels to me like that is a demo that you play multiple times, has its certain nostalgia to it. Now, like Metal Gear Solid Tanker demo, played that to death. It's why I bought Zone of the Enders all those years ago. Like having a demo that you really resonate with, and it's like, I'm going to play this to pieces. It's nice to get the options. I know with Village and Resi 7, the demo we got for was like, you may only play for a half-hour window when the moon is full, and you've definitely already got other plans.
I kind of like that. I feel like you're in an exclusive club when you're playing a demo like that.
I mean, I totally get it from a marketing point of view, get everyone tweeting about it at the same time. But for me, man with logistics to have to worry about. Pain in my ass.
Man with life over here. Man with commitments.
Man with life.
Dogs
Pain in
need
my
walking.
ass.
Sorry, dogs. I'm afraid entropy for you, because Capcom's have only given me a 45-minute window.
They'll understand. They'll understand.
Dogs are big fans of the Resident Evil series, you know? They love Windows and all that stuff.
What if there'd been like, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type character promising his kid that he'll come to his like karate demonstration, and he'd be like, "Oh, I can't. Sorry, Capcom said this is the only window I've got to play this demo." So I applaud this window that they've.
I've seen you doing your karate before. It's always the same moves. Come on,
learn a different chop.
Learn a different chop, for God's sake. So that is super exciting. We won't try and push you more for any details. We don't want it spoiled either, you know.
The details are that it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. It's really spooky. The scares are great. Like, play it is my review for you.
And Leon's hair is shinier than ever.
Oh, it's sexy. It's a sexy fringe. Like, it's very good.
I feel like it smells great. It smells like coconut. It's silken to the touch.
He strikes me as a man that uses a Timote. You'll get like a real premium conditioner on that. Leave in overnight.
As long as we've got all the Leon one-liners throughout, which I feel like after playing the demo, I feel like they're still going to be there, aren't they? So,
there is that was ones the thing that I guffawed at.
Oh, okay. Because going back to the movies, going back to the Welcome to Raccoon City movie, for example, I feel like they did Leon dirty in that film. He was just a bit of a sure, he's a rookie, and we all get that from the second game. However, he was just a bit of a butt of the joke in that film, and that was probably what the angriest.
They did the worst. Even as a rookie, you should have passed some fairly basic training. Which end of the gun do I hold? No, Leon, that's the handle. Is like wah wah.
Amazing. Okay. Shall we do a little bit of horror news for the week? Couple of news stories that I've seen. There's a trailer for a movie called The Black Demon. Don't know if anybody has seen the trailer for this movie. It's not even about a demon. It's about a megalodon shark. A bloody massive
Didn't see that coming. Already a twist.
Shark. Okay, so I watched the trailer. I'm a bit of a trailer avoider. However, I was like, I want to watch it to make sure it looks legit and not just like some cheap crap. But it looks legit, okay? There's a shark, a megalodon, and it sort of takes place in and around a oil rig. So I don't know whether the Black Demon bit is because
is that a metaphor for oil?
He's
going to be so oily. He's going to be an oily megalodon. Megladoil.
He's all slippery. Did you just say megladoil?
I did.
He's so slippery. You're not going to get hold of him.
Be like, don't worry, we'll be safe in the tight corridors of this oil rig. Oh no, he's been greased up. He's greased up the wazoo. He can get everywhere.
He's like bloody tombs. You can get him through tiny little crevices. He's coming in like that. He's coming in.
Oh my god,
he's gonna get you. So it looks like a sci-fi creature feature type thing, but it looks like it's got a budget because it does look good. The effects look great. Action set pieces.
Is he really greasy? Like, is that in the trailer? Is he greased? Is this a joke or is he greased?
I feel like, is this a joke or is he greased? I feel like I can't really tell because all the shots of the shark are quite murky. So I feel like if it's taking place on an oil rig, and as far as I can tell, there is a bit of an oil spill going on, he's gonna be oily, and maybe he's angry because of that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. But it's a classic, like, he's not hunting us, he just wants to punish us, that sort of thing. A shark with a vendetta.
It's a metaphorical vendetta.
A shark with a vendetta, yeah.
I'm reading the synopsis now. I already like the profession.
Surely, before we go into the synopsis, though, I'm going to try and call it slightly. Surely they're an oil rig and they dig too deep and release the megalodon, because megalodons aren't a normal one. So they dig too deep into the crevasse, release the megalodon. The megalodon's warm in the oil. That's how it can get up from the deep crevasse and make it to the cold waters of the surface, and then starts messing stuff up. and then they kill it, and that's the
I don't even need
Yeah.
to read a synopsis because that is just going to outdo whatever the
Well,
synopsis is.
the
Synopsis is bloody
I
massive.
think-
It's like a paragraph long.
Yeah, I think the synopsis might be a first draft, but I can tell you that the main character is goes by the name of Paul Sturges, and he's an oil man. So
Hey,
That's like a
Paul.
sturgeon.
Yeah, like a type
Fish
of fish.
names.
And he not only on his way to inspect this oil rig, you'll never guess what he's done, everybody. He's taken his family to mix the oil rig inspection
Oh.
with a holiday.
Oh God, he's a real.
Oh my God, I
he's
just
a-
remembered there's a dog in it as well. There's a chihuahua.
Are they remaking Deep Blue Sea, like, but with a dog instead of a parrot, and trying to get all these people involved? I don't want to know about it, unless it
Yeah,
is Deep Blue
like,
Sea
come on.
3.
Cool
Four.
James or
Deepest,
nothing.
bluest.
No.
Yeah.
And it better have a theme tune sung by one of the stars of the film, like LL Cool J did with Deepest Bluest. Brackets.
Yep.
Head is like a shark's fin.
Like a shark's fin. I forgot about that. That's just come like
Deepest, bluest. My head is
straight
like
back.
a shark's fin.
Oh my God, that was such a
What an
beat.
absolute
The head
banger.
is
That
shark's
is going on first thing on the playlist. First
Yeah.
thing on the
Yes. Oh my
playlist.
God. That and
is
Will Smith Fair on My Street, just that's the playlist building.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. And did you have
Horror.
anything else in terms of what the what was on the synopsis? Was that kind of it?
No,
I think
that's the
from the
main stuff.
trailer-
Without reading that massive paragraph, then that's fine. He
so
goes
You
on
gotta read
holiday.
it out.
The
It's
paragraph.
pretty big.
So it's like a Mexican legend apparently. This black demon, and like this dude turns up at like a small town, and like it's a ghost town essentially.
Everyone's
goes,
gone. He slurped them all off into the sea. All the
I don't
people,
know,
I
he's done
imagine.
that. And the offshore platform has awoken El Demonio. I can't even say it. El Demonio. How would you say that? Demonio. That's what they call
So
it.
demon, surely.
The demon.
El Demonio.
It has laid claim to local waters, aggressively protecting Mother Nature against human threats. It kills
It's an
everything.
eco film, yay!
It's a bloody eco film.
It's worked on so many layers. I imagine what the Black Demon will have done, why the town is a ghost town, is maybe, there's like a slope down to the water, and he's used his oil powers to make all of the slight inclines all slick. And as people have gone out to collect their milk and
Slipping
such, they've just slid down the jetty into the water. And just
Into his
gobbled them up.
open mouth.
Yeah.
Into his open mouth, yeah. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he was really actually
Absolute-
just after their milk, but the people fell in as well.
Yeah.
That was an added bonus.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. Do you know what? I think it looks pretty good. And I think a shark movie, I always like a shark movie. I feel like of all the creature features, a shark movie is always one that I'm more likely to check out than any others. Sand sharks, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ghost sharks. There's the one, the
Ghost
Ouija
shark.
board.
Ghost sharks.
Yeah, there's Three-Headed Shark Attack with
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan's daughter. There's been other versions of that with sharks with more heads by this time.
There's House Shark, where it comes up in a toilet.
Yeah.
That's a great trailer, by the way. If you haven't seen House Shark, just watch the trailer.
It's getting
Staple of the
more and more
Sci-Fi Channel.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't it like an Amityville toilet film recently? I think I saw a poster for.
There's Amityville everything, Ben. If you can put a noun after Amityville, it exists.
Yeah, and I appreciate it for that. Okay, that's the Black Demon. Check out the trailer if you like the sound of that. What else have we got? Planet of the Dead. Zack Snyder updates on Army of the Dead sequel. So apparently there is going to be a spin-off to the direct sequel. There already was a spin-off, wasn't there, where they didn't even have any zombies in it. It was like about cracking a safe.
It's about him cracking a safe and doing a crime, right?
He's cracking a safe and doing a crime, yeah. So he's making that film Rebel Moon, which is coming out in December, I believe. But he's actually said, as far as the Army universe goes, he's got actually two films in it. He's calling it an Army universe. It's still alive and well in my mind. I know exactly what I would do. It really depends on how we try and figure it out going forward. So, but the title Planet of the Dead is in. How do you feel about that?
Ooh, that feels like a little. It feels. Oh, I don't know. With his Army of the Dead and Planet of the Dead, it's like it's treading those George Romero lines, isn't it? It's like you're trying to fit it in there, aren't you, Snyder? But I do think he's at his best when he's doing zombie films, like the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake.
Is genuinely really good.
Yeah,
Hell
amazing. So like I am excited to see what else he does in the series. I liked Army of the Dead. I didn't think it was like amazing, like blow my mind, but I really enjoyed it. And the zombie tiger I thought was great. Yeah, I thought it had some sequences in it. So I think Planet of the Dead will be a nice little treat.
It's quite a jump from the zombies are in Vegas to guess what? The zombies are just the old planet now.
It seemed like they had it pretty well locked down. Oh, but then he gets out of that plane, doesn't he? Yeah,
yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you, Ash. I think Zack Snyder's zombie films are great. Dawn of the Dead is genuinely one of my favorite zombie films. It's like the most visceral zombie film ever. I think it celebrated an anniversary as well recently, didn't it? And I think as the years go by, people seem to love it more and more, which I approve of. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Intro, it just slaps. The intro slaps so hard. Oh, it's
the opening is really good. I love the little musical interlude in the middle when it's just life in the mall with old Richard Cheese over it. It's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Richard Cheese down with the sickness. Yeah, it's great. And one of the most effective moments. I'm sorry, I'm just going to start gushing about Dawn of the Dead now. When the guy in the gun store who's been communicating with Ving Rhames with the whiteboard the whole time, when he gets bitten and he comes back and just smears blood all over the whiteboard and holds it up. It's great.
So good.
It's great.
The reason that they all get absolutely just messed up is from the one going back for a dog as well. It's like it's real, it's believable. I would do the same for my cat.
Yeah, I'd go back for animals more than I would for some of those people.
Yeah.
Great.
Just put your hand up if you've been bitten. Just don't hide your girlfriend in a baby shop till she turns to a zombie. Just speak up.
Speak up, get shot. It's fine.
See it, say it, sorted. Come on.
I always forget that the dad from Modern Family's in it as well, and he's just an absolute sleazy freak. So I used to love Modern Family, and then went and rewatched this, and I was like, oh goodness gracious, this isn't the dad from Modern Family. This is completely horrible, man.
Makes it even like it's so shocking when you see someone that's like it's the same as like growing up loving Jurassic Park, and then a few years later you see Event Horizon. It's like, oh no, Dr. Grant. Please,
no.
Put your eyes back in.
He makes a terrifying zombie as well, that guy from Modern Family. Like when he gets bitten, and then, scary guy.
The man can do everything: raise a family, be a sleaze, be a zombie. That's the trifecta of acting.
Yeah, if you can do those three things, you're basically Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Big bad Denzel. I did have another news story, but I seem to have bloody closed the tab, haven't I? But I've just seen something that says there's going to be a Thai horror comedy called Night of the Killer Bears. Now, the reason I looked at it is because it says it's Ted meets Terrifier. Which is
Terrifier.
Terrifier. They need to get you in. Like, why is not every Hollywood marketing agency just got you on speed dial? You've come up with a few already this evening. Oh, this isn't the Terrifier, it's just my dog kicking off.
Oh my god.
It's the Terrifier! Oh god. So apparently 5 teenage friends living in the city of Bangkok go on a vacation together, staying at a quiet resort isolated from the city. But things take a dark turn when it's revealed each of them have hidden secrets. Of course they do. And unbeknownst to a group, there is someone observing them. What does it say?
It's a bear.
That's pretty much all it says. But the poster. Oh my god! I didn't even realize there was a poster. The poster. I can't see it. It's too shiny.
I can't even see it.
There's a teddy bear. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
There's a teddy bear with a bloody machete. And it looks like it looks like Ted, but with like hollowed out evil eyes. Night of the Killer Bears. Well,
I like that this is happening and the name as well. Like, I don't have anything else to add. I like it. I'm glad it's happening.
100%.
Good.
I'm on
want to stake your claim in that one, Ash. Get on your Letterboxd and then add it to what you just put a review in now that says AKA Terrifier, copyright me, this date.
I will do that. I will do that. And if it doesn't get 1,000 likes, 1 million likes, 3 million likes, I will
and this film is
delete
doomed.
my account. Yeah.
It's a tight film as well, so I feel like even if it sounds bad, you watch it and go, I'm just indulging in a bit of world cinema, all right?
Yeah.
Take me seriously. Come on.
Bit of class.
Yeah, a bit of class, exactly. Okay, that's all I've got for news. The next section is what we've been watching. So I guess we usually discuss what we've been watching in the last 7 days or so, but because you're on the show for the first time, Ash, it can be anything you've watched recently that you thought that you think
Your
deserves
entire life.
any level
Oh.
of shout out. Give us your entire horror history up to this exact moment, please.
Oh goodness, let me get my letterbox account up. I recently, all I've been doing is playing Resident Evil 4, I'll be honest. So I haven't watched as much as usual. I've also been playing Dredge, which is a gorgeous little cosmic horror fishing simulator, which I know isn't a film, but I just want to say it's
all right, you're
That's
allowed.
fine.
Is that all right? Can I say it? Oh yeah, Dredge. It's really good. It's literally like a Lovecraftian fishing sim. So your job is to go out and do loads of fishing, but you pull up like really weird, freaky fish as you're going around. And there's this whole like interlocking narrative with finding relics, and there's kind of like cultists on different islands. Like it's super occult and weird, but never overstates the horror. Like it could just be a normal, lovely fishing game if you want to play it that way, with some weird stuff in it. But it's just so expertly done. I love it so much.
This sounds right up my alley. I think the only way this could sound better is if I could play it with like the Dreamcast fishing rod from the good old days. Play it with the Dreamcast fishing rod, possibly get it modded so I can play as Big the Cat. Who knows?
Oh my god, I'd love it on one of those, remember the Super Bass like games that had the spinner on the side, just a little handheld one.
Such a good little peripheral. I used to sit genuinely, one of the happiest summers of my youth was my parents had gone away on holiday. Being a surly teenager, I had not gone. So my friends just all came around. One of my friends had Sega Bass Fishing with the rod on the Dreamcast, and we got a fishing hat and a bean bag that we put in the middle of the living room. We take it in turns to sit there. We got a bucket of beers by the side, and we take it in turns to sit there, cast out a few.
How old were you? You got a bucket
we were like 17, something like that. It wasn't like Dreamcast. Yeah, would have been like 17. And we were sat there, beanbag in the middle of the living room. You've seen my complexion, man. I'm not an outdoorsy kid. So, sit inside, do some indoor fishing, the best kind. Ain't going to touch any gross worms. Ain't going to get a hook stuck in my thumb. What a time.
Again, eco-friendly. He's not hunting fish. He's like the black demon himself.
That's what
It sounds great.
That's what they call him. I just imagine like someone going, Andy, come down a park to drink some white lightning and shout at passers-by. You're like, I'm playing bass fishing, mate. What's wrong with you?
We can do this all day. We can do this all day. No, it was carnage. Like about a dozen of us would just live at my parents' otherwise empty house for a fortnight every summer from when I was like 15. It was great times. Wasn't always
Sega Bass Fishing.
Wasn't always Sega Bass Fishing. We had one year really into cars, played Gran Turismo 2, tuned those cars up. Real collaborative, right? Should we mess with the talk on that? We don't know what we're doing.
That's wholesome. That's very wholesome.
That is
Dredge
wholesome,
sounds
isn't it?
great.
Yeah, Dredge does sound good.
It's really, really good.
Anything else recent worth mentioning?
Last of Us TV show.
Oh yes,
that was good fun.
Oh yeah,
that was good fun.
Yeah, that was also good. I'm glad that it like followed the game so close to invite people into that story. I am most gassed about season 2. Like that is my favorite part of the games is part 2, and the stories they go into in that. So I'm so excited to see what the TV show does with it.
You're looking forward to have they done many casting announcements? Has Abby been cast for that yet, or are they searching for them now?
I don't think there's been an announcement.
Anytime there's any woman who appears to have serious guns, there's so many comments like, cast her as Abby now. Get her cast this second.
Get her in.
Get her in. I'm
going to apply for it with my massive gun. Hold on. Let's see.
Yeah.
I reckon that could wield.
Look at that. Yeah, get her in.
Whoa! That could wield a golf club
strong
and smash somebody's head.
Yeah.
To death.
A small insect would be pressed by that arm.
Crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna do a Last of Us TV show bonus episode
Okay.
Very, very soon, aren't we, Andy? But yeah, I loved how closely it followed the game, and I just watched the little making of featurette that they put out as well. So it's like amazing to see all the care and attention that went into like every detail of it. And a lot of people would say, "Oh, if it's too close to the games, like that's not on, is it?" But that just proves how well written these games are, that it just translates to TV.
It goes to show how much effort they're putting into writing narrative in games now. Gone are the days of, I'll tell you what, your girlfriend's been kidnapped and you've been turned into an ape. Jog on.
Wait, what?
That is the literal plot of Toki. It's like a 1994 game on the Mega Drive.
Wow,
that was such a deep cut. I was just like, oh yeah. Lovely.
First one was like Altered Beast, maybe? I don't know. That was a deep cut,
from your grave.
Yeah. The story of that one is you've been in your grave, someone's asked you to rise from it. Sort out that Nosferatu looking chap.
That used to be my text message tone, rise from your grave.
Yes, I love that. Me and my dad used to say it to each other all the time. And
welcome to your tomb.
Yeah,
that's another good one.
Terrifying.
Welcome to your tomb. I said that to my friend. Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, go on. It's okay.
I was gonna say I ended up saying this to my friend. We went to Krakow and went down into the salt mines, and she is quite claustrophobic. And she was like having a bit of a freak out. She was like, "Oh my god, we're in salt mines," and I was like, "Welcome to your tomb." And it's the one thing she like vividly is me just like she stopped panicking though because she was
loads
so
of
like,
lightning came out of your hands.
Yeah. It was like, that's an awful thing to say to someone panicking, and I was like, "Are you panicking now? No, you're thinking about Altered Beast."
Right. So, hey, come on now, just a joke. They legally wouldn't be able to bury you here. They'd have to move your body.
Yeah, the thing is, they say when you go in, they're like, just make sure you shut the door behind you before we open the one in front, because if not, you'll run out of oxygen and suffocate. Like they say it really matter of fact, like about the way it's supposed to work. And they're like, people will be coming in after you, so just make sure that the doors don't open at the same time or all the oxygen will leave and we'll all die. So yeah, let's go and look at the chapel underground, shall we? And we were like,
I don't want to go
Krakow's a very cool city as well. What a trip. You had a good trip.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a good one. It was like our first little friend holiday, but there was like 7 of us and 1 toilet, which was not good.
Bad times. Real life horrors.
Real life horrors. That's a horror, isn't it? Andy, have you got anything that you'd like to mention?
Just the one, Ben. Little time to watch much since we only recorded a couple of days ago, but I have returned to do some horror comic reading in anticipation of a new arrival. There is a writer / artist, UK guy by the name of Jay Gunn. PlayStation fans will also know him as one of the primary artists behind Medieval. So Daniel Fortescue and co. He has a independent horror book many years ago now. It is called Surface Tension. If you like The Last of Us, I think you'll enjoy it. So it speaks to a pandemic that swept across the world at some point, where everyone got right poorly, and then obsessively, from wherever distance away they lived, all were compelled to walk off into the sea, and everyone disappeared, and like the human population has been massively reduced. This is all before it begins. It begins where someone who was one of those people turns up on this island where there are a few people still living their lives and trying to get back to normal years after this event has happened. One of the people that went missing returns. It has got some great body horror in it. It's got some really bizarro horror stuff in there. And I've turned back to reading Jay's book because he has a new one that has just come out, which the good people at Amazon tell me should be arriving tomorrow. His new book called The Demon in the Smoke is available right now, and it is about, it's the 1980s. It's like a really socially deprived and like polarized coal mining town. And it's about a little girl that goes and she finds like what effectively looks like a dragon egg in there, and the monster that hatches from it. It looks really good. I've met Jay at a few events and he's been working on this for years. I'm super excited to read it. So that's why I went back to Surface Tension, and it's still really good. You can pick it up from anywhere you can buy comics. It's very, very recommended from me.
I am both thrilled by the idea of Surface Tension. I'm going to go and look that up now. Well, not now, after this. But it sounds like the Returned as well, the French series, where like
I thought that when you said that.
Yeah, it has that sort of vibe. And two, I bloody love egg horror. More egg horror.
More egg horror.
I want to read this new one. I love egg horror. I mean, Hatching is a recent one actually that I can mention as well.
I've not seen that
Hatching
yet.
egg horror. Really good, really good. I like, surprisingly, it took me by surprise about how much I liked it. Egg horror, man. Nothing like it.
I've got it on my
Two
list,
bloody
but it's one
yolks
of
in
those
there.
that you have to have time to watch it, because when it's a subtitles one, you need your eyes on it all the time, not like I can get away with this being a background job, so I need to put the time in on it.
Yeah, get that
Egg
egg
horror.
on.
What's the worst type of egg in terms of like a cooking method? Which one do you not like? Are you into them all?
Oh, maybe hard boiled. I don't like a floury yolk.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No good. I love a scrambled egg. Tell you what though, doing the dish afterwards can fuck off.
Doing the smell of a cooked egg. That's really, really makes me heave and gag and spew. I hate it so much. The smell of a previously cooked egg, and then you wash the pan. Ooh, it's so
You got to
horrible.
do it quick. You're going to try and trick yourself. I'll put it to soak. It'll be better. Like, it's not. It's going to be worse.
Egg scent. Egg scent.
Yeah.
Blech, blech.
I think
this is true egg horrors.
This is true egg horrors. I think when someone does a poached egg for you, it's great. But the thought of doing a poached egg myself, creating some sort of, what have you got to do? Like make a whirlpool or something? Like what? What the fuck? I ain't wasting time doing that. First
Put
of
a
all,
bit of
you
lemon
make
juice on it in the cup. You won't need to make a vortex quite so strong. Hold its shape on its own.
Also, have we discussed this before? People who seem to think that like breaking into a poached egg is some kind of flex. It's all over Instagram all the time.
No, I'm sorry. I want to see poached egg breaking. I want to see that yolk. I want to see that yolk slipping out. I want to see like it perfectly cooked. I want to see that sexy little yolk, and I want to see your egg. Like I love it.
Christ.
I'm always like, I want a poached egg right now, so I can do the yolk squeeze.
We're learning a lot about you, Ash. You've obviously got a complex relationship with eggs. You've got egg horrors, egg porn, egg.
They bloody stink, but they they look great. But I'll watch our film about one. It's great. Yeah.
Each of your senses has a different reaction to eggs.
It's true. My eyes like, nose hate, mouth okay, ears good. I like the crack egg sound.
Yeah, like the sound of an egg.
Oh, yonder there is an egg crack. That's me listening for the egg. I just think eggs are really cool. Like I love the concept of an egg. Like there's a whole thing inside it that hatches out and is alive. You know what I mean? And it's just like a little. It's just like a little parcel. Like they just literally crap out a parcel, and life is in it. And
we just eat it in different ways.
Yeah, and also you can eat it instead, and it's great. Like
weird.
I tell you what, Easter's almost upon us as well. The Lord's eggs.
Yeah,
the Lord's
holy eggs.
Holy eggs.
Holy eggs. Who was the first person to ever go, you know what? That chicken, that thing of the shit out, I'm gonna eat it. And they've gone, Dave, what are you doing? Not that again. Remember what happened with the cow and the milk? Yeah, that's great.
See, at least a cow and a milk, it kind of makes sense because, breast milk, teat. Yeah, you'd think, okay, that cow's having a grand old time on that. I'm going to try some. But like the egg, that's not similar to like human, is it? You'd be like, is this just a really hard turd that's come out of the chicken? Like, can we eat this?
The cave people watching like the rats going ham on eggs, and they're going like, these rats have got it made. Eat them up.
Eat them up.
You have to eat them raw for a while to be like, actually, the raw is horrible.
Rocky style.
Yeah.
Down to 6 of them.
That's why cavemen are also hench.
Absolutely hench, roided up.
Yeah, that's all from me. Have you been eating any ovums or watching any films recently, Ben?
So the only
don't say ovum.
I've made it worse. So now you hate the sound of that word of eggs.
I'm over here saying mottled. You're over there saying, what did you say? Ovum.
I can't say it again, Ben.
Okay, this week I watched, I had a lovely little double feature of Children of the Corn, the 1984 original and the new remake, which is weird because it's like dated 2020, but it's only just come out. So I think it like premiered somewhere in 2020 and it's only just come out. The little corn kids. I've never seen the original before. I don't know why. Don't know if for some reason I'm just avoiding the corn kids for whatever. When I say corn kids, I don't mean like fans of like little new metal fans, little Jonathan David's running around. No, it's not like that.
That's
it's
all you
more
can hear over the corn stalks.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh
To be
God,
fair,
they're coming.
to be fair, just like really low end bass, just like I got a bit on their way. Massive baggy jeans,
legs going over the top because they're two-stepping their way across.
All got wallets on chains.
Wallets on chains.
Yeah.
That's where I was going next. This is completely different. This is it's a weird film. I don't know why I've not seen the original before. I'll watch Linda Hamilton in anything, but the original, I don't know, something about it felt a bit hokey, felt a bit dated, didn't really.
Don't like little religious boys telling people to be sacrificed.
That's annoying, isn't it? Pipe down. And the
They're being so precocious.
The
Listen,
remake,
mate.
which is apparently, did you know this? The 11th installment in the Corn Children franchise.
Don't say that, Ben.
Why you calling them the corn kids and the corn children is like it's just throwing me every time.
What?
It's like
why does this story? Sorry,
the four letters and the four words are too many. It has to be corn kids.
Bloody corn kids. The new one does some weird stuff like with it. Like at least in the original, you can kind of believe why it's happening. And they kind of a bit like creepy, like creeping up behind people and stabbing them in the neck and like that. But in this one, you're just like, just boot them. Why are you letting these kids just run riot in the town, just like hanging people, burning people, and all this stuff? Just like knock them out. Come on. It's a bit silly, and it takes a completely different direction as well. I won't spoil it, but a completely different direction where I'm a bit like, oh, interesting, but wasn't.
It's actually a wheat field instead of corn. That's what it is.
We're growing barley.
Yeah, that's wheat, that is. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was, I can kind of get where it's coming from, but also like the main actress who's playing, and in the description says she's playing a psychopathic 12-year-old girl. I mean, she is 12 years old. She's really good, but again, just yeah, I don't know. It was a bit naff, but still.
I know it's not the same as the 1980s, where we now, as a society, know you shouldn't thump kids. But I think if they're trying to get you in the corn, you can probably justify it. Yeah,
throwing a fist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be windmilling with all these kids surrounding me, trying to stab me in the shins and stuff.
Kids come at you with a sickle. I think you can drop kick them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to disagree.
Yeah. But
not a court in the land that would convict you.
11 movies, that is like insane, right? I can't think of a film with less, like, that needs that many movies less. It's the same sort of concept every time, isn't it? Oh yeah, so in the remake, it's not like a sort religious, like, preacher kid saying, "Go and kill all the adults."
They're
genuinely angry about the corn. So like the town vote to have like big, like I guess, what's it called when the corn gets, what's it called?
Harvest Festival.
Harvest Festival. No, you like put the chemicals on it to make it grow.
Fertilizer?
They're doing like
GME
chemicals. Corn.
That's it, GME corn. They're doing GME corn. Big business is coming in to try and
Jimmy Corn. You thought you said little Jimmy Corn.
GME.
That's the Green Giant's first name. If you sacrifice enough people, you'll summon him, and then at the end it's like, Green Giant, and then he comes out.
But this is like a environmental film as well, because they're kind of like going,
Children of the Corn and the Black Demon, they got something in common.
They're fuming about the corn. But yeah, 11 movies, including Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest. It's a good title, isn't it? Children of the Corn 5,
Brownfield Site, all right.
Fields of Terror. Now, after Children of the Corn 5, where do you think they're going to go with Children of the Corn 6?
Space Corn.
Space.
Yeah, that sounds right, doesn't it? But Children of the Corn 666.
Oh,
Isaac's
of course.
Return.
Children of the Corn Sixel is what it should have been. There you go, another one.
Oh, like a sixel. There you go.
That's way better. God damn it. Children of the Corn. That'd be much better.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry, I
bloody
liked
hell.
that.
Children of the Corn. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if it makes me want to go and watch any more of the films in the franchise. I know, Andy, you're a fan of just like going.
Yeah, once you've done one, like
all in.
Ash this year alone have done, or maybe it's the end of last year, definitely done all of the Howlings this year and all of the Hellraisers because we covered one of them, so I had to go and finish the set.
Why not? Yeah. Oh my god, that. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot in there.
Oh,
There's a
Hellraiser
lot.
takes a dive hard.
There's a lot of choices being made across all of them.
Yeah.
Quite often the choice isn't
say...
to open the box. It's just, am I near the box? After a while, Pinhead's like, close enough.
Well done. I haven't seen all of the Howlings. Is loads and loads of Howlings? I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the rest.
7. Oh, 7, watch number 2. It deserves a critical reappraisal. It is bananas.
Okay.
And the Howling 3, marsupials, where they're all like Australia werewolves.
That's
do they have a pouch?
Yes, they do have pouch. And one of the main things about it is they have a baby in it. It's ever so fun. Watch those two.
Oh my god, like a werewolf Joey.
Yeah, a little werewolf baby Joey.
Oh.
That's as far as I got. That's as far as I got up to the third.
That's probably as far as you need to go.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But what sites lie beyond werewolf marsupial? That's what's enticing me now. Where else can they go?
It's real hard to escalate from there. There's one in a medieval castle. There's one at a high school, but you never top Australia.
So, apart from that, we've all seen the same thing. We all had a little watch of a film called Terrified, which is the film of the week. So Terrified, how'd you say the Spanish? Aterrados. It's a 2017 Argentinian horror film written and directed by Demián Rugna. And the plot concerns when strange events occur in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires. A doctor specializing in the paranormal, her colleague, and an ex-police officer decide to investigate further. I don't know why I said it like that, but they do. They investigate further. So it's got 6.5 on IMDb. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 77% critic score, a 68% audience score, and on Letterboxd, 3.2 out of 5. And some choice reviews before we dive into it. Cherries says, the willies just kept on coming. I jumped, I let out an O, and I may even have hid under the covers. Be still, my thumping heart. 4.5 stars for willies that just keep on coming. They just won't stop coming. Katie says, well, here's another reason why I prefer cremation to burial. 3 stars. And she's done a little emoji of an urn, which I think is good. I like that extra detail. Cinema Void says, great, another movie that weaponizes the naked bodies of older people, forcing me to look at my own mortality and how I really have no control over it. I miss ghosts in blankets. I think you might mean ghosts in sheets. What was a ghost doing in a blanket? 3 stars, sorry. Yeah. So there we go. That is it. It kind of looks like it's got like the critic score is pretty high, audience score is pretty high, all the scores are pretty high. Everyone seems to appreciate it. A bit of a film that's gone under the radar a little bit though. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
because it wasn't until that top 10, that top 100 moments that I heard about it.
Oh, you saw it on that as well?
Oh,
yeah. I learned about it and added it to my watch list because of that top 101 scary horror moments. Otherwise, wouldn't have known. Even with it in Shudder there.
But it's got that such a good little picture on it. I was like, I think when I first watched it, seeing the picture, I was like, oh my god, I'm in for a scare. Like I just thought,
what's this fellow up to? He's
Which picture do we mean? The one where it's like sort of split in half.
Yeah, this is the
got
one.
like blue juice coming out of his face. What is it? Blue juice? I kind of saw that poster. I don't know why, but that kind of put me off a bit. I'm not sure. I don't know why. I kind of thought it just looked a bit. I don't know. I'm glad.
Sometimes they can go too far, can't they? Posters, and you're like, you're trying too hard. Like I'm not interested in the wares.
in the wares.
I get you.
Exactly.
Mm.
But
I
I'm
thought
glad
that
I've
was a
se-
good one.
I'm glad I've seen it though, because it definitely did put the willies up me. The willies did keep on coming because
Yeah.
just as I mentioned, the scares are just so. It's like they're consistent, but they're so unexpected. They're so different. There's such a variation in the scares. There's like genuine creeping dread, and there are jump scares as well. But the jump scares happen not when you're expecting a jump scare. So many moments when you're like anticipating some sort of jump scare doesn't come. Later on, you've forgotten about jump scares. You're like, maybe this film hasn't got any jump scares. Bang! Horrific.
Hand
In the best
through
possible
the
way.
crack.
Yeah.
That is the
through
best one.
crack.
Hand through the crack. The first time I watched it and saw this, the whole time I was like, she sat so close to that crack. What the hell are you doing? Why are you sat close to that crack? Get away from the crack.
Get some bloody polyfiller in there. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, like she knows there's a little freak on the other side as well. She's going, mate, come out, don't worry. And then she sat by the crack going, everything's bad. These people are like possessing you. They live in the water. Everything's terrible. And like she's just sat there chatting right in front of the crack. But the hand still got me because I was like, oh, okay, we've done it. They would have done it by now.
You can't take your eye off the crack. That's what you have to learn from that one.
Yeah.
This woman's a professional as well. She should have known this.
Allegedly.
For professionals, all of them need a good head wobble, genuinely. Oh, should we start from the beginning though? Because I feel like Terrified goes straight in, like the way that it opens up with this poor woman who's scared of a sink, and you think, oh, she's got a case of the crazies. Don't worry about it. There's not going to be voices coming out the sink, and her husband's not going to believe her. And then literally like 2 minutes later, she's getting whacked around the shower.
Jesus Christ! It is so effective.
That's why you put a non-slip mat down. That'll happen if you're not careful in your bathroom. We all get older, so sooner or later, falling over becomes having a fall. It's a lot more serious, and this is what this lady has.
Do you also feel like, sorry, I'm doing more of a general sort of discussion first, is that it kind of feels a bit like, I'm getting like anthology vibes from it, where it seems like it kind of like dips into all of these different types of, and then brings it all together.
Either that
by
or
the end.
I thought at first, not knowing the film, I thought, are we going to get an anthology? But then it turns out it's more of we get like a cold open and then almost like I bet you're wondering how I got here record scratch moment before we then go back to the start and see what follows. But you're right. We'll do it in order. I guess before we say any more, if you're familiar with the show, you know this is going to happen. If you're here because we have Ash here and you followed her along, then we'll go through it in full detail. So if you're going to watch it, I think we all agree that it's a good film. It's on Shudder. Get yourself a free trial. Get yourself an account. It's the best money you're going to spend on a horror subscription service. Sponsorship is available, Shudder. But then get and watch it, and then come back and listen to it because we're going to go through it in detail. We're going to spoil it, so get on there.
Yeah, we will be spoiling it throughout, so and including like the big scares as well. So if you're not seeing it, go and check it out. So it starts. We're kicking off in Buenos Aires, in like a sort of suburban street. Clara. So yeah, in terms of characters, there's like a couple of like paranormal doctors, Dr. Mora, Dr. Rosentok, Commissioner Funes. Is that like there's like a police officer who's got a dodgy ticker? Classic.
Yeah, Funes is the deputy.
Funes, yep. And then obviously
Got a load going on. It's got a dodgy ticker, bad ears.
Yeah. He's not good for ghost hunting, and he stays.
Got a coagulation problem he mentioned.
Does he?
He's not fit for it. He wouldn't pass the bloody medical.
Never a character should never ever say, "I'm 2 days from retirement." Never ever say it.
2 months though. He said 2 months, which I thought was like, oh, okay. 2 months,
maybe,
that's fine. I don't
right
worry.
Yeah, 2 days to retirement. So Clara. So we start off with a couple in a house, and Clara is initially hearing strange voices coming from her impeccably clean sink plug hole. I was like, that looks good to me.
Probably got a separate one that she puts food waste down. It's all right.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
You shouldn't put food waste down your plug hole unless you have a waste disposal.
You get a little thing that you pick it out of and put it in the food bin. You're all right.
Oh yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah,
a little sort of grating.
If I was there, I'd be wazzing some Mr. Muscle down there. Other sink and plug hole and blockers are available. But no, she doesn't. She just goes, that's some voices down there. And when her husband is her husband, isn't it? They are married.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's her
That
husband.
matters.
Although, Ben, are you buying a Mr. Muscle plug and blocker that's rated for voices? Clears all your
reckon
lime
if you
scale out of
just-
there, and ghosts will be washed away.
I reckon no matter what's going on down there, Mr. Muscle sort it out.
If
You
you've
know.
got a core
His name
stick
is
enough
Mr.
expanding
Muscle.
foam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's
does.
got his
So,
muscles
a
in
ghost
there.
have no choice. A ghost have no chance of expanding foam. Ghosts to be
Yeah.
absolutely obliterated.
Mr. Muscle does love the jobs you hate, which actually exercising ghosts, real pain.
Yeah.
I believe that Mr. Muscle could get rid of ghosts, but also if you fill the sink as well, where's the room for them? Because these are like water-based ghosts, aren't they? Is what they say. If Mr. Muscle's filling up the hole, where are they going to live?
Yeah.
Not in the sinkhole.
That's a good point. Maybe we've got the
Get some
answers.
caustic salts in your ghosts.
Yeah.
Fucking eat it. Right.
So she straight up believes it. Like it's not like she thinks maybe I've just I don't know, maybe it's something else. Who knows? And then obviously her husband gives the classic, this house is old. The pipes are just creaking. And you go,
Yeah, but they are specifically saying that you're going to kill me. So
yeah, this is a very
those
specific
ghosts have been
creak.
ghosts have been slagging him off as well.
What's that creak
Saying,
saying? Slagging him off. What are they saying?
yeah, your husband, mate. Yeah, you by the sink. Your husband is going to kill you. No, not me. The ghost. Him. He's gonna do it. So not only are they threatening her, trying to frame her husband up for it.
Oh, see,
Despicable.
I read that and thought that it meant the ghosts are saying, oh my God. I totally missed that. They were saying that the husband was going to do it. I thought that they were just
they were going to kill me. Maybe I misread it.
No,
as well.
they said you are like they keep saying you are going to kill me. Or maybe I just thought she was talking to the sink. You're going to kill me. Like
You're gonna be the death of me, sink. I'm sick of doing the washing up every bloody day. You're gonna be the death of me. My fingers have gone all wrinkly.
Oh,
A bit of wet food got on my hand.
Oh no!
horrible.
Nobody likes
Old
that.
egg from the
Show
pan.
the egg pan.
Oh, no. That's the worst one though. A bit of old scrambled egg all gathered in the plug hole,
Ugh.
and you got to
No.
scoop out by your hand, and for a second you go, forbidden egg? No,
No, never for a second.
No,
Not even for a moment.
I do want nothing to do with that ovum.
Yeah. See, now you've said it more times than I have.
Yeah.
The worst one for wet food on the hand is like an old spinach leaf. That's the worst one.
Oh, it clings,
Horrible.
doesn't it?
It clings. And sometimes you won't even know it's there. You're going about your business, old spinach leaf on the elbow. It's been there all day.
That hasn't happened to me, but I can see it. I could see it happening in the future. So I'm not going to write it off.
While we're talking real life sink horrors, which is the grossest sink to clean out? Then is it the bath? Is it the kitchen sink with your horrible wet food waste, or is it getting hair babies out of the bathroom drain
I
trap?
find that incredibly satisfying as a follically challenged man. The fact that I get to indulge myself, I find it really satisfying. Yeah, I've even got one of those long, grippy,
like a plumber's snake. Yeah, what a time!
Get that in there, and then when it comes out,
it's
forbidden
satisfying
egg?
to do. It's a satisfying job, but it is a gross one. Much like food is delicious on a plate but horrible in a sink. Human hair, beautiful on a person's head. You'd love to see it. Second, it's detached from the body though. Gross.
I will confirm that it's not mine, by the way. As I mentioned, like it's not just I'm not hairy everywhere else. And
It's just like extra long pubes coming out of the.
Yeah, it's not that, but
Sink's whispering that your husband's going to kill you again.
See, my hair is so long, like, let's get it, like that is so satisfying to pull out, because it's like it just keeps going and going.
You ever get tempted to leave it 6 months and see if you can make like a life-size replica of yourself?
I've definitely left it a little while before just to see how much would come out. It was quite disappointing because I bleach my bath quite a lot, so I think it breaks up in the plug.
I've definitely spent time on TikTok looking for like
hair baby removal.
hair babies coming out of the old plug hole.
That isn't just a me term.
And
They are
sometimes I
called
see
hair
them
babies, right?
sometimes I see them and I go, that can't be real. Like that's been fabricated for this video.
Put
That's
some 3D
insane.
printed.
That's insanity. Who's that hairy and who lets it get that bad?
Oh, these TikTokers with their content.
It's always like a different like color to like. It always comes out all horrible and grey as well, doesn't it? Like
I think that's the circumstances of being left in the train trap. That'll change a person or a hair.
I don't call them hair babies. I've always called them hair pigs because they look like guinea pigs.
Hair pigs.
Yeah, they look like little guinea pigs. So I always thought like because they roll up really nice when they're on the floor.
Pigs. Hair
Little
snake.
hair pigs. Yeah.
I think I've always called it a hair snake, or just a yeah.
Oh, there you
pigs,
go.
whatever.
Right in, everybody. What do you call gross lumps of hair in your drink?
It's when people call those
Tweeting.
little wood lice different things in different areas of the country, don't they? In the UK, what do you guys call
Do
them?
they?
Just
Yeah.
wood lice, aren't they?
It's wood lice.
Just wood lice? No, they got loads of different names. Grandfather,
Name
what?
several.
Who's
monkey.
calling them his grandfather? Oh, greetings, sir. Welcome.
What Victorian boys? Hello, grandfather.
Oh,
Right, that's it.
grandfather, you're quite small today.
Hello there, grandfather. Here we go. There's all the different things they're called, right? Are you ready? Are you ready?
No.
Bibblebug,
What?
chisel hog,
You're just
How-
saying words. None of these
This
are
isn't real.
palmer worm, monkey pea, roly poly, Johnny Grump, and just one's called Slater. Slater, like cat Slater.
Slater.
I've heard of a roly-poly.
Yeah. The
That's
Bizarre
it.
World of Woodlice. There's a link here. 54 names for woodlice.
Well, their grandfather wasn't on that list.
I'll find it. Don't tempt me. Oh no, I've clicked on the link and it's opened a PDF. Jesus.
Ben's on the Wikipedia adding them as we speak.
Grandfather. I think I've always just called him like little woodlice. Yeah, little woodlice.
What-
Oh wait,
what's
Chucky
the-
Pig. Chucky Pig. They're all regional as well, right? Slater's
What
in
is it-
Scotland.
What would you name a woodlice if you could add a new name to the list? What would you name the woodlice?
It's a good one. Oh my god, in Wales they call them Granny Greys.
Granny Grays.
Oh.
Oh, I'm gonna have to send this link to you afterwards because it's insane. Like it's all
I guess
it's all
they're like
regional.
armored, so would I call them like an armor bug or like a I don't know. Woodlouse is exactly what they are.
I'd call them horrible.
Bloody horrible. Carpenters, they call them in Eastern Canada. Crunchy bats. This is mental, isn't it?
Crunchy implies that they're eating them.
This is the best one. Doodle bugs.
Doodle bugs.
I like that.
I ain't never seen a woodlouse do any drawings. Let me tell you.
Just give it a pen, give it a Sharpie, and watch it go. Oh, this is a good one as well. In Australia, they call them butchie boys.
Yo, butchy boys.
Oh, the bloody butchie boys are again. I'm not going to try and do the accent. Slater's is Scotland, though, Andy.
I've spoken to people in Scotland, Ben, arguably not about woodlice, but I'm going to ask them around. I'll go knock
Have
on
to
the
do it.
neighbours when we're done here.
Go knock on the neighbour's door.
Sorry,
and say,
guys, I know
"Look,
it's late.
Sorry, I know it's midnight. I know
I've
it's
got
midnight.
this right here. What is this?
You have to find
So
one first.
I'm going to have to go out in the garden in the dead of night, find a woodlouse, flipping
the
those
time of year
rocks
for them?
over.
Okay, what were we talking about?
So we've done the first 20 seconds of the film. So the woman's in the sink and she tells her husband, tell you what, the sink's been slagging you off again. Tells me it's going to kill me. He says, oh, well, should we go to bed? All right. The next thing you know, the husband's already thinking he's going to have a bad day because it's like 5 a.m. and his neighbour's banging about the place again, doing his bloody DIY. And he's beating on the wall, saying, you know what time it is? It's too early. And he goes around to his house and doesn't immediately get put off by when he's like pressing the door buzzer. There's like eerie, definitely ghost voices coming from it going. But he goes, oh.
Sorry, what was that?
Just ghost mutterings. So there's some ghost mutterings coming out of the doorbell, and he goes, well, just stop it, okay? And he goes back home, and gets back to his house, says to his wife, but he didn't answer the door, but he DIY Joe next door, dickhead. And then he's like, what's that banging? That's not coming from his house. Looks in the bedroom, pops head around the door. She ain't in bed. Maybe she's got up and had a shower. And she is in the shower.
I'll tell you what is quite spooky. Sorry, Andy. I don't mean to interrupt.
So you go. You tell me what's spooky before we get to the murder.
The climax was right there.
When you forget the climax, right? I ain't interested. It's quite spooky when you wake up in the middle of the night and your partner's not in bed, and then I don't know. Initially, you just go, "Oh, just in the toilet," but it is quite spooky, isn't it? Like when you wake up and they're not there, and you're like, "What are they doing? Have they left me again?"
I live on my own, so I think I'd be more frightened if someone appeared in the bed, like
the guy behind you, old
butt cheek in the back,
old butt cheek man,
standing over your bed, flopping the old chop in the evening. You'd be like, "Nah."
Oh, Jesus Christ! My God! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
It's a really small ass he's got as well.
Well, they don't want to make it about the ass. They don't want to make it like a Willem Dafoe situation. It's just about.
Yeah.
It's too big. It's unfilmable.
I reckon that
exactly.
People think it's a cow.
You should start doing some squats. That little. Sorry, Andy. Before I ruined it to make a really terrible, not interesting or funny point, please continue.
So he's sticking his head around the door, thinking, "Oh, she's got up and had a shower." So he pops his head around the bathroom door. So he didn't have a shower. It's too early. We can go back to bed for a bit. Unfortunately for him, she's not having a shower. She's being ethereally thrust into the tiles across from one side to the other of the bathroom, and she's been bludgeoned to a pulp. That's a fair way to say it.
Think of all the thuds that he's heard. Like that, each one of those was her getting smushed.
Yeah.
It's been going on for ages.
You've been thudded for 7 to 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
All the time he's been shouting at the neighbours. You'd be ever so embarrassed. Have to go back. So sorry I was shouting at you just now. It turns out it's my wife being murdered by a ghost. But he doesn't have time for that because he's... it's a fun bit of dialogue where he's saying to his wife, like, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm just floating about and killing myself again.
It's funny out of context. Like, oh, why is he asking his wife? Oh, she smacked into the tiles. But I was thinking this when I was watching it. It's like, I think the first thing I would do as well is be like, "What are you doing? Stop it." Because you want it to be them. Like, just to take it seriously for a second. Like, you want it to be them, don't you? Like, you want it to be the person messing around. You want them to say, "Oh, yeah, sorry, pranked, lol." And then actually, no, it is old Jimmy grandfather, the woodlouse, with his strong legs throwing her either side.
Yeah. And it is, you would, especially when you can't see it happening, because you can clearly see that she is like suspended in the air. It's not like she is being hung from anything. It's not like that she is, that you can see anything that's moving her around, but it's really forcefully done. So you're right. In all seriousness, he's at a loss and tries to like pull her down.
Yeah. Huh? His initial reaction, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's kind of like just pure disbelief. He's not like shocked in that initial moment. He's kind of just like, "What? Like what? What's going on?" And he's trying to like grab her and stuff. The fact that it carries on while he's trying to like grab her and pull her down as well, and he can't do it, and he sort of like stops and just gives up after a while and just kind of watches it happen.
I think it's so well done. Like, I think it is like, I think it's truly like, it's horrifying seeing someone being slung around in midair against the tiles, but like, I feel like it's actually like harrowing to see, because it's like this person that he loves so much that he literally can't believe it, like this paranormal thing is happening to. And it's so visceral as well. It's not just like, oh, she, you know, like in like CG sort of effects where they'll just throw someone across the room and then they find them in like a bloodless heap. Like, this is bloody, things are broken, like she's like, her neck is flopping around, like it's horrible. And his reaction where you just see his blood covered hands like covering his face because he's like, "Oh, I can't look at it." I think it's so well done, like setting the tone straight away for this actually. Yeah, exactly, your dog's right.
Yeah, exactly, he's furious.
You find like the mess left from this horrible like beating in the bathroom. There's no way you can explain that. Like, someone's picked her up and like flung her around when there's no entry, no leaving. The only stuff in there is you, because you've touched the body as well. Like, I think it's a nice setup for like these paranormal people being like, "Hey, you need to let us in, otherwise they're all going to think it was you."
Yeah, because these ghosts have fitted you up for this one. Not only have they been going around telling people that it was going to be you, but they've left no evidence. That's one of the main abilities you have as a ghost, not to leave that much proof of where you've been. So,
but luckily, you don't have to worry because when you're in custody, 3 people who believe that there's some sort of paranormal going on have turned up, and they're willing to do a bit of digging, a little bit of investigation to try and get you out of there.
Yeah, they totally believe in. They say, look at this photo. And I did wonder, is this, they show photos that are from another event. Did they mention that it's something that happened in the US?
Yeah.
Is this linked to another film already? Or is that like a kind of backdoor setup for, hey, if there's going to be an English language remake of this one, then we can just say that it happened here?
Oh, I don't think it is connected to anything else that I have noticed, but it could be, and it could be the setup. It's a nice little throwaway for like, ooh, what happened in the US? Like maybe they could do a follow-up film with it as well, of being like, this is the previous cases and how these, supernatural investigators got their credentials and all that sort of thing as well. I don't think I'd like to see more films in the Aterrados universe just because it works so well as this kind of creepy, not really understandable in a full capacity, really explained, but also a bit explained to make it creepy. I really like it on its own.
Yeah, I think
not enough films are proper just standalone, are they? Sometimes you'll get 11 sequels.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, but I think it does a good job of like explaining things enough, but not, there's still that mystery to everything, like how, why, there's all this stuff sort of happened, and that is sort of really creepy. And that's what I found so effective about this initial scene, is that it's just like, what the hell is going on? And that's scary as well, isn't it? Because sometimes when there's like a supernatural force in a movie, part of you is like, oh, I'm scared, but I'm not that scared of it because it's not gonna physically hurt me. Is it gonna physically hurt me as much as this? This is like an example of, oh yes, it's gonna hurt you to such a degree that you are just going to be smushed. You're going to be smushed to nothing. So yeah, it's incredibly effective. I was terrified.
So then we take
Oh yes. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It just comes effortlessly.
It'd be good if the scientists had said that when they were getting there. Said, "Oh, I bet you must have been terrified," and they take their sunglasses off. Yeah. It was a good set, and this is your I bet you're wondering how I got here moment, because then they basically say, hey, look, we believe you. Let's talk about how we got here. And then we go back, I guess, just a number of days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Walter, who is the guy who lives next door, who was falsely accused of doing a bit of DIY at 5 a.m. By his neighbor. That's the true horror of this. Falsely accused.
His name has been dragged through the mud.
By this ghost again, messing around. This ghost has come in, said, you're going to kill your wife. You're doing DIY. What else could it do?
Just causing problems between neighbors. Maybe there's one of these ghosts in Albert Square. That's why all those guys don't get on so well. Always having like fallouts. It's probably one of these ghosts there.
Just whispering in Phil Mitchell's ear.
Yeah. Hey,
what?
Your brother Grant. He's up to this stuff again. He's sleeping with Sharon.
He's sleeping with Sharon. And
what?
And the Queen Vic's a shithole.
What? How dare you?
How fucking dare you? Get out of my pub. So yeah, he's experiencing supernatural occurrences. He's on the phone while he's at work to somebody talking about had a wink of sleep.
Is it not Dr. Albrecht that he's on the phone to?
He's after some Dr. Albrecht assistants, and I tell you what, the assistant, Dr. Albrecht's assistant, is either excellent at their job or bad at it, because they ain't putting any calls through, depending on the orders that they've received.
Yeah,
be like, please, I'm really desperate. I'll pay any sum. They're like, no, like I can't stress this to you enough. She can't help you. Stop asking. Yeah. All right, please.
Sorry, you're on your own. That's it.
What if I could get proof? It's impossible to get proof, all right?
I won't believe you even if you get any.
Yeah, even if you get proof, won't really be good enough, actually. Like, I shouldn't have even used the word proof.
I'll set up a video camera and film it. That could be anyone. That could be your mate. That could be a weird mate.
Before he sets up the video camera, we get one night of it. And this, like, as a, is one of the bits we do get a bit of slow build. This is a good one. So he's knackered. He hadn't had a good night's sleep for ages. And he goes to sleep one day.
It's because he's sleeping fully clothed. I feel like
on top of his single bed.
I feel like if you had some lovely pajamas, a little nightcap, maybe.
Yeah.
A lovely
little lavender pillows.
Yeah.
A weighted
honk
blanket.
shoe hours.
A weighted blanket and some lovely fluffy socks. You'd have a wonderful sleep and get a bigger bed than a single bed. You're not a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah. Also, it can be moved around by ghosts, as we've seen.
Yeah. Get a heavier bed.
Yeah.
Screw it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, that's DIY, and he's not touching that. It's like, screw this bed down. No, the neighbour already thinks I'm doing DIY all the time.
Mr. Blumetti will get me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there was a bit before he goes into his house where what's his name, the other guy?
Mr. Blumetti.
Mr. Blumetti,
just Mr. Blumetti. Is that his name? Juan.
He definitely has a first name, but I'm going to call him Mr. Blumetti.
Mr. Blumetti goes, Juan. He says, Walter, you've been doing DIY. I haven't. No, he admits it, doesn't he? Because he doesn't want to say.
Been renovating.
Doesn't want to say, oh, this guy. And he's like, you put a massive. My old wall's cracked up. Got the plaster coming off here. What, you're wrecking my DIY. You are giving me cause to have to do DIY because your DIY is too vigorous.
And I hate it.
Yeah, and you see him doing some DIY as well, which I liked as well. Yeah,
he's like polyfilling the wall going, fucking hell. But he's gone to bed. He's got the lights on as well, sleeping with the lights on. And then the lights go off and he wakes up in the night. He has a look under the bed. No one there. And when he has a look, we see under the bed all smushed up limbs under there.
Yes, it's so good how it's just broken as well. Like you see him look up and the face is already there when the camera starts panning, but it's just the edge of the shot. Yeah. And then when it comes back down, you think, oh, it's not going to be there anymore. But it's actually just the full face of this horrible naked man with his legs bent up backwards and all sorts of weird stuff going on. Oh, chef's kiss.
Yeah, I guess really that's why it's important he has a single bed. Because if he had a double bed, he could be under there, loads of room to hide. Yeah. But because it's a single bed, he's got to be all crushed up under there.
He wants to get himself a divan or whatever it is, where it's just like drawers under there instead of space for an old naked man to curl up.
It's true. All things he could have done. I wondered when watching this. I know this is very like, oh, I'm smarter than the film. Why didn't he just go and sleep somewhere else? Why didn't he just not sleep at home for a bit?
Yeah.
Just go to a hotel, if at the very least.
Plan a sleepover.
Get yourself down the Premier Inn.
Yeah. Go and
good
see
night,
your pal.
Good night's sleep guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't sleep well that night, he'd get his money back. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Danny Henry said.
He lost his life instead.
Yeah. But before he does that, when he has another phone call where he's asking for support from the doctor, in proof is impossible to get, so he does get a camera. I mean, mate, upping your screen time is not going to help you get a better night's sleep, but I get it. Desperate times. And he sets up the camera. He wakes up after falling asleep a little bit, and he finds it on the floor, only to see, for those watching on video, Ash's background there, where on video screen, while he's having a little kip, big horrible naked man crawls out from under his bed and has a good stare at him.
Oh, I think this is so scary. I just think all of it's so scary. Yeah. And I don't mean, obviously, it's. I think all of it runs that like tightrope of being terrifying and funny. Like it's absurd. Like it's really absurd. Like a big naked man crawling out under your bed and looking at you is quite funny out of context. But watching this like tired, stressed man and the strings going on the violins and the way that it crawls up and kind of hovers there for a bit and then goes into the cupboard, like it's just done so perfectly well that you either laugh or you cry. Like it's one of those where it's such a visceral reaction. I think it really triggers my flight or fright. I can't speak. The man's really scary and naked.
He's got at you. Yeah. The big naked man's obviously got to you. Yes, you're right. Like it's a really intense moment. Like, you're right. When you describe it, it might seem quite funny, or when you're watching it, thinking, oh, Cheeky. He's come out naked and standing over your bed. If you woke up, or if you saw a video of yourself having some sleep, and some horrible ghouly man came out of your cupboard and stood over your bed naked for a bit, or imagine if you just woke up, he just turned over, reaching for the light switch. No, the switch on my bedside lamp's a bit fleshy. Oh my goodness, no, isn't it?
Oh, for God's sake.
You'd be ever so scared.
I would be scared.
I'll just be like, just gonna pull it as hard as I can. Come on, switch on.
I'd be like, I'm sure I had a dimmer press light. What's this?
Just shout,
like Alexa, turn the lights on.
He looks like a cross between the old, what's his name? From...
Sorry, did your Alexa just respond?
What did it say? What did it say?
She apologized because I don't have any commands set up.
Come on, Alexa.
Either that, my wife's trying to go to bed, and I've just flooded the house upstairs into complete daylight.
So this guy, he looks like a cross between like one of those engineer fellas from Prometheus and
He does look like one of the space
I Am Legend vampire man. Just like CGI, but at the same time, like it's good enough to make it look really eerie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got like an uncanny quality rather than a CGI quality. Like he's massive, hairless, fleshy, with like this kind of vein stuff going on. Ugh. And that's not just on the light switch, it's over his whole body.
He's all veiny and he's a bit bony. And I think you're right, the creation of it, it's also enough, it's close enough to reality that yes, it feels uncanny, but yeah, I absolutely believe there are some character and some physical actors that could just be this creepy man.
Oh, 100%. What, Javier Bardem, that's not the right one. Botet, you put him in that sort of role, bloody hell, you eat it up. And it is someone like that who can just be a bit monstrous. I just think this is this really plays on that whole idea of being scared when you're in bed. It's that childhood fear of thinking someone's around, or there's a monster in your closet. It plays with all of those tropes, something under your bed, something in your wardrobe, while still being adult scary.
Walter,
I think it's so
even
good.
puts the blanket over his head.
Yeah.
Which I'm
so
last ditch
something's
effort,
asking for him for help. Something's calling to him for help, and is covering. He's touching the thing. Tell you what, brief aside, a real life ghost story happened to me once. It wasn't a big naked man, thankfully. This was teenage years, staying at a friend's house. My parents were away. His parents were also away. His girlfriend was round, but it was a long way. It was too far for me to go back home. So sleeping over, not the traditional way. I'm not sleeping on the floor like a sleepover with the sleeping bag. I had to sleep in what was affectionately called Grandma's room.
Was there a wood lice in there?
Oh no, there were no wood lice, but there were absolute fuck ton of spooky dollies.
Oh,
doll houses and porcelain faced dolls. So there's me getting ready to go to sleep in this room. And I just got this uncomfortable feeling of something being in there. So I, a bit like Walter, got under the covers, and I had my eyes closed under there, just feeling a bit creeped out, a little bit spooked. So I had my head under the covers, and then when you've got your eyes closed, but you can feel or sense there is a change in light in the room. If someone opened the curtains in your bedroom and you had your eyes closed, you can tell there is more light coming through. I had that sensation, that feeling that there was more light in the room than before. And I was I'm not keen on seeing a ghost at this point. So I stayed under the covers with my eyes closed and ignored that shit as hard as I could. The year was the late 90s. Pokemon had just come out. I was playing it on my Game Boy at the time, and I thought, I wonder how many of these whimsical and not frightening creatures I can think of the names of this new game. Didn't touch any of those ghost Pokemon. So I thought about that in my head mentally until I ain't talking about any Ghastlies or Haunters right now. So I just went there. I went through until I fell asleep a few minutes later. And then in the morning, when I got up, there was a bookshelf outside of Grandma's room, and some books had fallen off it in the night. The book that was on top was one of those old car manuals you get that shows, like, the exploded schematics of a car. It was a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost.
Ah, there it is, the Sting.
Yeah,
Silver
and I
Ghost.
put
Wonderful.
I put the books back on the shelf and didn't mention it to my friend, because if it was him and his girlfriend having me on, I'm going to be stubborn enough that they weren't going to get me by me mentioning it or asking them a damn thing about it. But I did think, was that the closest thing I've ever had to a ghost experience or not? So I was a bit like Walter in that situation. But it's been a good 20 years since then, and I haven't been got by a ghoulie man, so I think we're safe.
I think you're safe, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But this, I'll tell you isn't safe. Buddy Walter, he's watching the video back, and he's got himself. The camera wasn't the only bit of hardware he's got. He's also got himself big old shooter in case he needs to blast any ghosts.
I keep thinking everything in this joke now.
He's got a big old shooter. He's got a big
Yeah.
old 6-shooter loaded. It's very shiny and chrome.
Yeah. And he's going blast any ghoulies he sees absolutely full of lead. But unfortunately, while
Sure he will.
watching back the handycam footage, he has put it down. And he gets pinched by the ghoulie man who comes rocking back out of the cupboard, snatches him up.
Yeah, well, you see a
Snatches
good
him up
shot here.
proper.
He sees the reflection of the old ghoulie man in the gun, and he goes to reach for it, but no, it's too late. Snatched.
But he slurped off, mate, into the ether, into the cupboards.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah,
realise
exactly.
later he's in the wall, like getting real
Yeah.
freaked out.
Yeah. He's in that
Oh,
crack
yeah, it
that
was
you've got
him,
to
wasn't
keep your
it?
eye
Yeah.
on.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Well, she's there going, Walter, hiya, I've come to help you. I see your proof now.
A bit late for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Couple of kids playing football in the street.
Boots it over Walter's garden. Thinks to himself, while I'm getting my football back, help myself to a bit of to some of his garden tap water. Thanks. Ever so parched, playing, I guess, in Buenos Aires. Thirsty
Ever so
working game of
parched.
football. Ever so parched, and he goes, and he gets a banging on the window from, I assume, Walter from the Shadow
Yeah.
Realm, saying,
Yeah.
"Here, don't drink my bloody water."
Get your filthy lips off my tap.
Yeah, it's just don't drink that water. It's for your own good, though. I mean, to be honest, with what happens now, I'd probably take my chances with the tap water.
The
Because,
tap water's what happens.
Yeah.
of course, gets in you.
Yeah. So
And I guess he has had a little sip of it now. So he steps backwards from Walter shouting at him, right into the path of a bus, like almost Final Destination style, right, coming out of nowhere.
Final Destination, Regina George, like it's a little one, another little pastiche moment.
Yeah.
Bus driver gets
Cool.
out and legs it.
Does he like it?
Yeah.
Does he run to get help or just away?
I think he legs it.
Just does a little lap.
Yeah, just as a little lap, just because it's Juan who goes and knocks on the door of his mum, of the little boy's mum,
Yeah.
who's Alicia. Yeah, and it's pretty gruesome. Kid's dead, and then we sort of a little bit of time passes and we see the funeral.
Yeah, we get to the funeral, and then that bit speeds along pretty quickly, and then before you know it, we get to I guess this is the inciting incident that then becomes the focus of everything else we get in the movie, because we get to the evening. We think we're told a few days after the funeral has passed. Mum is downstairs, obviously had a traumatic experience. She was downstairs punching a couple of darts in the kitchen, and what's that noise? Busted having a smoke. Go through, and I think probably one of the iconic moments of this thing, the first look we get of the little boy sat motionless. Well, we don't see it at first, actually, do we? She goes through to the kitchen and it stops, and then the next thing we know, it's
this is done.
The police being called.
The reveal is done so well because there are already multiple people who've seen this of what's happened, and everyone's like kind of like not quite understanding the nature of what's happened. everybody kind of thinks maybe the mum has dug up her kid and plonked him on the table. That that's very, very likely, and I think even somebody says that there are recorded cases of this actually happening. But the fact it's just dealt with so well that everybody, they're kind of like explaining. The police officer says to, who is it? Is it Albrecht?
It's the investigator guy that they call. So there's the deputy calls him, but he's like one of his friends is like an expert investigator, and his name is
Hanno, isn't it? Hanno.
Yes, Hanno.
Yeah, that's right. And he of course, Funes says to him, "You're not scared easily, are you?"
Nothing scares you, and he goes.
And Hanno says,
we'll see.
"No, I'm absolutely nails. Out of the way. Let's have a look." And of course, there's like muddy footprints. All. So this is the thing. It does a really good job of like building up to this moment, but also trying to let us piece it together so we can kind of understand what's happening. Muddy footprints on the like in the hallway, but also like up the house as well.
Yeah,
which is like kind of nuts. It just
and
adds
all kind
that
of flies...
extra sort of unconventional supernatural element to it, where you're just like, what the hell?
It kind of flies in the face of when there are those logical explanations, because that's how, sometimes in grief parents might, not be able to let someone go, and they might dig them up.
I dug him up and I walked his little
it's
muddy
unlikely,
feet.
that you sort of puppeted him into the house.
Oh, it is so good. I like that you just see the back of someone's head before that slowly pans out, and you get your first proper look at it yourself as well. Like quite like that, actually.
There
like
he
Andy,
is.
It's like
But again, like middle of the day. Again, I love it when films just like something that should put you in a situation that shouldn't be scary. The middle of the day in this sort of like suburban house, what could possibly be terrifying in there? But little dead fella sat at the
in his Sunday best. Obviously, they dug him up from his
Sunday
funeral.
Best, but also something about his face. Sorry, Andy, can we have a little look again?
Have a little look at him here.
Like, it's not a grin, but it's almost just like a, I don't know. It's weird. It's just so strange, isn't it? Like, it is perfect, and because we've been accustomed to so many different scares using something like this. You expect a jump scare. You expect him to like leap to life, or there to be a sudden loud noise or something like that. It's just done so well. It's like masterful in terms of like everything from the glass knocking over with the milk, to the eventual movement of the head. He puts a spoon up to his nose to see if he's breathing.
Yeah, Juano's very clever. He's like,
you just expect at every moment, okay, well now it's going to leap to life. Now he's going to leap to life, and it just doesn't do it. And I think that's what's so good about this film, is that it really takes its time with the scares and allows them to like organically build. And it doesn't even always have to have a huge payoff. The payoff can be something as small as his head turning ever so slightly, and because they're like, Funes says, a couple of my guys thought they saw him move. You're just watching and you're thinking,
we never even see it.
I think I saw him move.
Your eyes are on that thing the whole time, and it's built up because all the patrolmen that are there when they get there say, Can we wait outside, please?
Oh yeah, they're scared.
Don't like being here with this horrible little boy.
Oh, you would though. You would just be like, I've had enough of this. I'm gone. It's with the dirt everywhere. Like when you're actually like watching it again for the second time, so knowing that little boy is going to be sat there and he's been dug up, like, and seeing you're looking for all the footprints, and you see that like Alicia's like she's covered in dirt like all over because she's like been holding the boy, and the house it's just mucky everywhere. So you know that this boy's been all over the place. And he sat there, it's just so still as the grave, actually, and is so messed up as well. It's not like a fresh corpse that's just come out of the ground that looks like the little boy. There's so many like sweet looking corpses in horror, if you know what I mean, where it's like Pet Cemetery or something, where it's the boy still, like, it's still lovely. Whereas this boy's like messed up, like he's rotten, he's not looking good.
Yeah. He's a grubby little. They slag him off to his face. They've obviously taken a page out of the ghost books. They're like, he stinks like a bloody corpse. Because he does, doesn't he? Fucking reeker. He's and then that's where he's like, tell you what I reckon to you, as soon as your back's down, I waz this milk all over the table.
Oh, see, that's so good, though, isn't it? Because like,
imagine him doing it like a cat, like knocks something off, like he's just really still and something like goes. Just, like,
Yeah.
just pings it over.
So what's happened? Is she? So Alicia's like, I guess, just plonked him at the table and gone, "Fancy some breakfast? Do you want some frosties? Those are your favourites."
He could have sat there is the thing. Like he could have walked in and sat there is the
Yeah,
other
that's true.
part, which is also really unnerving. There's either the thought of him going out and making his little bowl of cereal, which is horrible, or him just sat there bone still, and Alicia coming in and putting the cereal in front of him, putting this milk in front of him, trying to treat him like a child, and it's literally this flesh statue. Ugh.
There's that kid who
so
really
well done.
likes the milk to soak into his Weetabix before he'll do it. Oh, I don't want them crunchy. Let it ride. Leaves it on. Either that or like, I haven't got kids to have to worry about. But sometimes when it's like, you ain't getting down from the table until you finish this. All right then. That's the game, is it?
It's such a good scene, such a good setup. It reminds me of like a little tagline you read on the back of a book or something, where it's like, this little boy was hit by a bus on this date, and then like, I don't know, 8 days later,
He sat down for his frosties.
After his funeral, he came home.
Yes.
And his fingers all chewed up. He's all grubby because they talk about like, look at his hands. He's like dug himself out of this. He's dug himself out of his grave. Yeah.
He's done Uma Thurman in Kill Bill's tiny little 1-inch punch all the way out. Bang. Got himself out.
I do think part of the magic of Aterrados is, as much as what we see is scary, imagining yourself in those situations is like mind-numbingly scary. You know what I mean? Like you can make light of it a little bit and you can see it and go, oh, that's spooky. But I feel like nothing has quite put me in the shoes of the characters and made me think, holy hell, I would absolutely be crapping pant as this film. Like talking earlier about the woman smacking off the shower, like I would react the same way as that guy, because it feels so visceral. And the guy with the naked man coming out of his closet who's so confused and trying to kind of act quite normal about it. Like I feel like it's these characters' committal to keeping things as normal and average as possible that makes it so much more realistic. Like it feels like what would actually happen, because they make stupid choices because you wouldn't know how to deal with this. Like, and because
you know that people aren't going to believe you, and that's what the police say here. Like, so one is like saying like, you could say that the mom probably do. You probably find like bacteria from the corpse on her and these other things. I don't think that like that's an explanation you can tell people, but I don't think it's the real one.
Yeah,
because he's someone who immediately, we know he later is one of these investigators, so he kind of says like, this is what's going to happen. You need to send the mother away, and we're going to do something about this.
Yeah.
So does he meet the professor? Does the doctor turn up here, or is it after they've had the situation where the little boy is turned up the next day but the head turned? Because
so first of all, obviously they say they're going to take the boy away, bury him again, put some concrete over the top of the grave this time, for heaven's sake. But his little mate comes to the window, sees him, and then sees the next event, which is that they wrap him up in a little blankie,
whack him in the chest freezer.
Doesn't the doctor sees him before that though, because she looks at the body as well.
Yeah.
So Albrecht and Janov sees Albrecht outside and is like, "Oh my god, you're that famous paranormal investigator. I have some paranormal stuff if you want to see it."
It's like, you looking at this house? You want to look over the road?
Yeah,
Doc. They've got just the thing
there.
And then they go concrete grave on this poor little boy.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, that this family's already had quite a lot of loss, because their son has died, and now they've also lost their chest freezer because they put him in they put him in there. I mean, it's a good job that wasn't full of food; it just happens to be sitting empty. But then when they bury him, they say, "I'll take the freezers. I'll just literally bury the whole thing." But the poor policeman's like, "Fucking hell, size of the hole I'm gonna have to dig."
The policeman's like connected as well, because he was in a relationship with Alicia.
Yeah. For a second, I did wonder, like, it doesn't play out that way. I was like, oh, is there going to be,
that's my boy.
Yeah, that's the boy, or is that something like, is it a legitimate child that he is connected with, but he hasn't ever openly said? It doesn't go in that direction, but it feels like there's more to it with that relationship as it comes along throughout the film.
That's another thing though that I think makes it feel really human. Like there's no real explanation. They don't need to be connected. Like it's just like, oh yeah, this is a small town. This is this community. This is my ex-girlfriend. And it kind of plays in a little bit more later, but it's not necessary. And I think that also makes it kind of human again. It's just like, okay, yeah, not everything has to mean something.
Not necessary. It doesn't mean something, but also like it doesn't feel forced. Either doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's just like jammed in to make you think, oh, this is even.
Okay, this is how it works. I have to have these things. So yeah, it was cool. I like a little thread that it doesn't have to go somewhere, but it's like a little bit of an interesting. But we do have a connection between the characters that shows that the policeman is interested because he does know this woman, and he kind of doesn't want her to be implicated or blamed for anything that has this supernatural explanation.
Because they pretty much agree to just go and put the boy back and just
concrete him in, so he stops.
Concrete him in and don't make a big deal about it. All right, come on, just get him back in the grave and move on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, we've got some paranormal investigation to do, and then I guess this is the point now where the guy has signed the papers. So now they have their permission to do. Do we cut back to the prison, in fact, where it goes, right, absolutely love to investigate this. If you could just sign this for us, please. Sign the release.
Yeah, we get a little release sign. I think we meet all the doctors, the boys taken away, and then it's like, yeah, sign up. They turn up, and Dr. Rosenstock comes with them, who's like, is he an American? He's not native Spanish speaker because he struggles with some of the words.
Yeah, he says a few things in English as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he says darkness and light, but I assume there are both words in Spanish for both darkness and light, but he says it as if it's a phrase in English at some point.
He's like the chaotic one out of the three, isn't he?
He's just loving it. He's like, "Wait,
he
let's
is
go."
loving it. He is loving it. He is just like, this is great.
He doesn't even seem to mind that much when he's getting his hand blood slurped out by that knife.
Oh, the sucking! Oh my god, that is the next bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Oof. So this, in fact, we might as well cover it now. So they're doing investigations. They're split between the two houses, right? So there's two of them, three houses.
Yeah. Each one of them takes a house, and then Funes is just like, he's mingling. He's flitting in between all of them. He's like, I'll go over here for a bit. Go over here. Everyone all right in here? But yeah, and again, you're like, initially I was like, why are they all doing it separately? Like, that feels silly. But then it's almost like, okay, but I guess they're kind of all looking for the same thing, and they're all in connection.
Which house is Rosenstock in? Because this is where we get the first. Which of the houses is he in? Is he
Naked Mouse?
Yeah, Walter's tiny ass man's house.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there, and he's
Maura is in the house of the couple from the start.
Yeah,
and Jano, is that how you said his name?
Hanno, yeah.
Hanno is in Little Dead Boy's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Little Dead Boy's guy.
Yeah, so they're all there, and then we see Dr. Rosenstock has the first event. He's just, as you might do, kind of wind chiming the cutlery in the kitchen, just sort of brushing his hand.
It is very supernatural, though. It's all stuck to the bottom of the shelf by some magical compulsion, and he's like, "Oh, that's a bit spooky."
Lovely.
Whack my hand in here, and then in doing that, then a knife pierces his hand sort of against the kitchen cabinet, and at first they're trying to pull it free, but he realizes that it's having a bit of a drink of his blood. It's slurping him up like a Capri Sun.
Ooh.
Refreshing.
That's my reaction to that. Ooh.
Yeah. It would come ever so sharp, I think, if it happened to you. Definitely.
Yeah. I think it would sting, like a knife through the hand and then blood drawn from the wound. The way that they like do it in the effects as well, like proper practical with the blood going upwards, like you see it getting pulled up. Like it's not just again, it's kind of that separation from reality where it's not just sucking blood from a wound, it's literally sucking blood from the whole area. Like his whole hand is being pulled from to kind of pull it around the edges
and pulled up there.
Yeah, like whatever this is a little freak.
Yeah,
it's a little freak,
a real thirsty freak. It's slapping him right off.
And Funes is like, whatever is in there, I'm going to shoot it in the face. And then all of the cutlery like swooshes to one side as well, doesn't it? He just constantly looks like oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah,
What is
I
going
love
on?
Funes. Like, he's a real
Yeah, he's
one for
great.
sure. Like, he's there, he's going, I've got a heart problem, I can't hear very well, also I'm really scared and I want to leave, also I'm just gonna shoot this thing when I open the cupboard, nothing's there, all the cutlery moves, and he's like, oh god, get me out, I've had enough.
I guess it's similar to the way Walter opened the wardrobe earlier, expecting some sort of spooky Narnia situation, but no, it's just all the shirts.
Oh, there's another film, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's about like someone's family member that dies. Oh my god, this is like the haziest memory of a film. Someone's family member that dies, it might be their mother or something, and like they think that they're gone, but actually they're this little like creature that lives in the wardrobe and comes out and looks at them at night. And this film really is like draws from that kind of with this guy, and the just there's other bits that it kind of reminds me of that I have a faint memory of. Either that or I've written a film in my head.
Is it fairly new or fairly
old?
New? Oh,
old.
It sounds a bit like Relic, not the Relic, but Relic.
Love Relic. Yeah, that was great. I love that.
Reminds me a little bit of The Pact. That's one where a mother dies, and then there's a creepy old man that lives in like a fake thing, and he comes out of the wall, and I don't think he's a ghost. I think he's just a spooky man that lives in their house.
Yeah, there's a spooky man. And maybe it's that.
The Pact, I think it's called. Be
You
about
got it from that.
8 to 10 years.
That
maybe.
might be it. Maybe that's it. The Pact. A woman struggles to come to grips with her past in the wake of her mother's death and the disappearance of her sister. That must be it. Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what.
Bloody hell,
good description.
That was good. That was a good get. Good get. That's 5.7 actually. That was rated quite well. I'll have to watch that again after.
Get on the Pact. Yeah. So the spooky they have the incident with the cupboard. Is this then when Funes phones Juano next door and says, "Tell you what, mate, I am freaking out," and he says back to him, "You buy a bloody kitchen window."
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that is
no,
that.
No,
that is...
no, I can't.
Because Hannah's like, "Calm
this
down."
is so good. It's like, "You buy the kitchen window.
Oh,
you're not naked, are you?"
This got me good.
This was so good.
I swore.
A little
cheeky swear. It got me. I just wasn't expecting it. I just thought, that's interesting. You can kind of see it one way, but not the other way. And then there's that sort of thing about how it exists in the light, and it's like the light refracting in some way is
it's
allowing them to see it. Perspectives, yeah,
because Rosenstock says like it's all a matter of perspective, and there's loads of perspectives you can see things from. Just before that, and maybe I think it's just before that. Rosenstock, look at this guy under the bed.
Like, he's like, look, if you look at this bit, nothing in the bed. If you look from the end, you see his little feet putting out. You'd be quite tempted, even in a scary situation, to give him a little tickle, wouldn't you?
You'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Rosenstock's just a feet guy, I reckon.
Yeah.
He's like, look at these under there.
Yeah,
these little piggies.
Pops out, gives him a proper scare, and I think that's when Funes is like, "That's enough. This Rosenstock's a real weirdo. I'm gonna ring Hanno." Then Hanno's like, "Oh, are you by the window?" Looking around at the different angles, seeing the guy, not seeing the guy. Oh,
yeah, he's like playing with it. He's like, "Now I see him."
Yeah,
it just draws you in, doesn't it? It draws you in, and you're like, "What's happening?" It does make you kind of like almost lean in a bit, which is in terms of jump scares, like. I think those are the best ones, the ones that genuinely make you like forget that this potentially is gonna be a jump scare and just lean in to trying to find out more from this particular shot, and then bang, gotcha.
You think you're safe because you're watching. He's not taking it super seriously. He's looking either way, kind of like interested researcher. It goes on for so long, seeing this guy appear and disappear with the bend of his head, and you think you're safe because everything so far has been contained to the houses that they're in, and this guy is across the road in that house. You think, okay, cool, what's he going to do? Say boo from across the road, nothing's going to happen. And then when that jump scare comes where he's right outside the window of Hanno's window, it's like, oh my God, like that's not allowed. This isn't supposed to happen. You've broken all the rules. What are you doing?
You've kind of leapt forward. It's a nice way of like, I guess, probably the most wanky film student thing ever I'm going to say, but like it's almost like the window that he's looking through is like us watching on the screen, and then he's jumped forward out of the screen where he is in the other house, and he has penetrated that. So I guess psychologically for us, that's like he's pretty much come out of the screen and could get us. Yeah, it's really effective. Genuinely, I had a little gasp watching this bit as well, and I had to have a little break for like my phone rang or like I had to go and do something. So I'd stepped away for a few minutes, and I came back to carry on.
I had to start remembering Pokemon all over again.
And then it went that. Yeah. I had to pause and like start thinking.
I had the similar coping mechanism when I used to watch horror films, is that I used to play Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone in my head. So if I was terrified at night, I just close my eyes and just start playing it in my head. Okay, over here, jump on that one. Yeah, jump over here. Well, watch out for the spikes.
Yeah, it's good. Like take yourself away mentally to get rid of the scares. I think between the three of us, we've got all of the right coping strategies to deal with any type of situation.
Any scenario, I would say.
Divan beds, divan beds, Mr. Muscle, mental disconnection from the horrible moments.
I used to watch Adventure Time. That was the one. I'd put cartoon I'd watch a horror film back when I wasn't very sturdy as a horror watcher. I'd watch a horror film or two and be like, I'm gonna have a bad dream if I go to bed now, so I need to watch Adventure Time for a while. Like I just put Cartoon Network on for about half an hour and be like, if it wasn't Adventure Time and it was like Adventures of Gumball or something, I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like,
only this has the dispelling effects. Come on, I'm gonna have to wait for it to roll around. When's the next Adventure Time on? 7 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, it's going to be a long night.
Long night. It's cleansing your brain. Before.
No, you're right. Back in the day, I'd done things like that as well. I think you're right. Like a Cartoon Network or something. An excellent mental sorbet to like cleanse that palate. The nightmares. This is what I used to quite often watch a DVD. Again, much younger, back at my parents' house as a teenager. I'd have like a DVD on late at night after everyone else had gone to bed. On one occasion, I was desperate not to fall asleep, so I had, got up, got off the sofa, and eventually, because I was tired, should have just gone to bed, fell asleep during The Grudge on the living room floor. So I fell asleep on the living room floor watching it, and then I woke up as it was ending, which is when there is a ghost lady's face inches from the camera doing that. So I woke up to that and I was like, well, I'm awake now. That's just
if you fell asleep
Johnny Bravo one, it'll be all right.
If you fell asleep watching any DVD, you were screwed, because after the credits, it would go immediately back to the main menu.
Like classic DVDs, like the original Family Guy ones, have an incredibly loud looping soundtrack.
Oh my god, I remember it vividly. One of the first sleepovers I had. I hated sleepovers as a kid. I was supposed to like them, to like hang out and watch films, and because like there's that kind of unspoken bit of girlhood as well, where you're all supposed to band together and like do each other's nails and stuff. And I hated it. I wanted to sleep in my own bed, but I braved this sleepover and I went over and they put on the freaking Polar Express and left that on, and it went back to the menu. And I was like, everyone had fallen asleep watching this film, and it went back to the menu. I was like CGI Tom Hanks on repeat for 2 hours, and the girl's sister was in the room as well, right? She chewed socks while she sleeps. That was just something she did. So she had this sock hanging out her mouth, lit by the Polar Express telly that was just looping and looping and looping. I nearly had a breakdown in this bed, thinking I need to be anywhere else. No, it wasn't even Christmas.
CGI face.
I hate
it was
that.
a horror
Anyway, it's July. It's July.
Christmas
so let's stick on Polar Express, and everybody have a sock each.
I've not watched it since. I can't put it on. Like that's the true horror.
That's pretty scary, and everyone's horrible CGI faces.
It's like Beowulf in it.
Yeah, it's that early. It's kind of like early big production CGI, right? You had the Final Fantasy spirits in them with all those lovely hair follicles, and then for years after that, because people didn't want to spend 50 million on a haircut, they had like just that weird, slightly shiny CGI, which is even worse when it's meant to be like a real actor, like a Tom Hanks.
Didn't like it. Give me the naked man coming out of the bed.
If you're like, oh, thank goodness, at least you're not a really uncanny Tom Hanks. Get in.
I'll
I'll scooch over. I know it's only a single. We can spoon.
No, he's bloody massive. 8 foot tall.
I bet he's got cold feet as well. He probably put them on your back. No.
Oh, no. I think I'd be big spoon on him. Just like cling to the back.
Right, you're going against the wall, but don't flip me out, all right, of the bed.
So Funes goes back to where what's his flavor is Yano. Goes back to where he is. This is kind of a weird scene as well, isn't it? Because he goes in, Yano's nowhere to be seen. Obviously, we know that he's obviously been got by a ghoulie, but just hears banging from coming from inside the little cabinet.
Like the kitchen island.
Captain Cabinet, trapped in cabinet.
Can he get out? Will he get out? Of course he will.
On this occasion, though, Noel Fielding would have been wrong because he can't get out. He's like, "Get us out! I put a glass in my eyes." And he goes, "When did that happen?"
The eyes are bloody stinging.
Oh no! Glass in my... Got shards of glass in my eyes. I was only on the phone to you a minute ago.
I can't leave you alone for a second.
They're proper minging as well, his eyes. Like, he's got glass in them, but they're like proper little pustules. Like, he's gone full Sam Neill, like outward, like, it's so swollen. They look like prolapses. They've got prolapse eyes.
Yeah, they're quite shiny. They're quite shiny as well. It's like he's replaced his eyes with Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, really chewed.
Go to Specsavers. What seems to be the problem? Prolapse eyes, I'm afraid.
I've got prolapse eyes. How did you do that? Shards of glass in them.
Prolapse eye.
I like how when Funes gets him out.
I was going back and forth, thinking I could see a ghostie from particular angles. He comes at me at the window and jams a load of shards in my eyes, whacks me in the kitchen island, and leaves me to it.
Oh man, it is, again, just to take it serious, like. It's another one of those things where you see it and it's absurd. It's just that whole line of absurd all the time. It's a man trapped in a cupboard going, "I've got glass in my eyes." Like that, you're like, oh, come on, Yano, grow up. But like, actually, what the hell? Someone's been shoved inside an incorporeal cupboard through time and space that they can only scream from as they're being like actually physically tortured and bleeding out the hole. Horrible.
Funes, you've been whacked in a liminal space. You're stuck with it. You're right. And I think in many ways, the service we provide while we're doing our hangout is that if you've watched this film, you're going to get nightmares. Listen to us chat on about it. We'll have made it so ridiculous that you'll be safe from nightmares. You'll know, what would the guys say about this? Well, they'd say it was a foolish thing to be stuck in a cabinet.
Get out the box.
Get a divan. You're all right.
Well, Funes, what's good though is that Funes literally goes, nah. Get some out and she goes, actually, you know what? Fuck this.
Have you not heard about my absolute laundry list of health problems? I'm not getting involved with this. I'll go and see what.
Say it to Yano multiple times. He's fully like, my little problem. My little problem. Yano, my little problem.
The little ticker's fucked.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
I've got earring aid that goes all Silent Hill the second the ghost is coming anywhere near us.
I got earring aid. Got genital warts recurring. Just keep coming back over and over again. Did you not mention that? Oh, no.
That's what he's referring to. He talks about his little problems.
I bet he has though, sleeping around with everybody in the old small town.
Yeah,
all the mums.
Yeah, I can't believe you're slut.
Oh yeah, I should. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all about sex positivity now, Ben. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Plus, you could just get you can get a cream that gets rid of them fairly quickly. I've been told.
Just take a wide spectrum antibiotic, you'll be all right. Anyway, so he's trapped. So he thinks, I know will help me here, Dr. Albrecht. I'll go and see her. She is having the most success with any ghost. So she's in the couple's house, right? And she's looking through this crack in the wall that she's clearly been picking at because it's quite opened up at this point, and she's seeing.
I think that's just the house shifting. Just to throw my 2 cents, I think it's just opening. I think it's just open. Sorry, I'm making my own jokes. It's
it's just no. I won't. Finish that point.
She hasn't touched it. It's just the shifting of the house. It's more psychic activity, isn't it?
Don't touch it. It will open gradually on its own. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
No need
So
to
she's
coax
leaving it to its own space. She's she is doing a bit of coaxing though. You say that, Ben, because you see in there, it's only Walter, Ghost Walter, in the
This is scary.
in the space. And he's kind of looking out. He's like he's a bit Gollum-y. He's having a look out through the thing. She's saying, "Come on, come out. We'll give you. It'll be all right, little fella.
Come on out. We got
I'll give you
custard
hand."
creams out here. Come on, have a look.
Phineas comes. That's all right. You do as much DIY. I was never doing any DIY.
It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on, you come out. And then Funes comes in and she's kind of distracted and she says, "What's going on?" So, well, one of my mates is trapped in a cabinet. Other guy has gone completely off the deep end. What are we going to do? And Dr. Albrecht kind of goes, you haven't had any of the tap water, have you? No, I haven't. And then this is where she posits the theory that she talks about the different dimensions and there are aggressive spirits coming through, and the water is kind of like a conduit for them to pass through, right?
Yes. Yeah. And there's just literally, she's just like, actually, there's dimensions like an orange, and there's loads of segments, and water slips through. And then she's like, and that's it. Like, that's all you get for the explanation of the ghosty ghouly monsters of this film. It's just they're a bit watery.
Yeah, they can move about through the water. Best not drink it. But they're all over the place and they're bad. Actually, though, hearing your description, Finez, of what's been cracking on with the other two, I think we need to stop this investigation immediately. But she doesn't really get to go beyond that because, like you said earlier, she's taken her eye off the crack.
Sorry, that looks very claw-like then.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on. I'm going to find my claw zone.
That's it. The claw comes through, lunges out, and then just gives her a cheeky little head snap. Just twists her neck off.
Gutted.
So good,
gutted.
that scare. Love that.
There's a long, creepy... What was it? Like just a horrible, creepy, long limb. Is it Walter?
Yeah.
Are we meant to think that is Walter? Or what he's become?
She thinks it's Walter. I don't know if it actually is, because he's been absolutely...
Has it become the spooky naked man? Because he seems like the malevolent force behind it, or is he just another victim?
No, there's more than one spooky naked man as well. Like under the bed, there was three.
There was
like
two.
there's different faces.
Oh, three. Okay.
All bundled up
I
under
thought
there,
three.
aren't they?
Yeah. So this could be Walter. It could be like manipulated Walter because he's been shoved in the wall, or it could be someone else. But like he comes out, the claw comes out. Funes has an absolute mad one, has a massive heart attack, and then you see it crawling out just in the like background of the shot whilst Funes is rolling around.
Terrifying.
But again, another good shot where like it starts with you like the back of Funes's head, and then it kind of like pans around and you see it. It's a bit necromorphy, isn't it? Like I thought that with the glowing eyes.
It's the one long arm with its like claw bits, and then the other one's kind of like it's normal, and he's got this massive lump of flesh across him. Like it's something incomprehensible again, but they don't even try and show it you. That they just give you bits of this creep as Funes is rolling around, absolutely ignoring it, which I really like. He's just like, I'm busy having a heart attack, don't bother.
that's his coping mechanism.
Yeah.
This is his list of Pokemon species. He's like, sorry, can't concentrate on being scared now. Heart ceasing to work.
It's fully like the granddad from The Simpsons.
I mean, yeah. Jokes aside, like I think the effects that we've seen here and all of the creep stuff, this is some of the most effective bits because I think we touched on it earlier, the uncanny nature of it that they put out there, that it looks quite human but not quite, and it's misshapen and it's distorted, and we see it in ways that it's, for the amount of time we see it on screen, it's hard to fully comprehend. Like with all the mess of bodies under a bed. Did you see two faces? Did you see three? How is that? How do those legs relate to that body? Like, it's really well done. And it's timed, I would say, to perfection for the amount of time that you can get a good look at it enough to be scared, but it's not like you're going to see it for long enough to be like, oh, okay, that's how it's meant to look. It's always got that air of mystery to it. And this is what we get while it's creeping up behind us. It's obscured enough that you just know, oh God, I kind of don't want to see this whole thing.
Yeah, I love its weird little hand as well, like the claw, like because it's not quite like the long pointy claw hand that you would see of a classic like elongated pale monster. It's a bit, it just looks a bit alien because it's like the I was so fixated on the fingers because
like
they're kind of
alien, yeah.
squared off like instead. So
Yeah.
they just look really weird. They look really, really weird, and they still have like tactileness to them, but are so. Oh, I just think they're
Almost
really
like an Alien War of the World hand that comes out of that
Yeah.
spaceship at the end, the
Yeah.
three-fingered
Is it? Do we
monstrosity.
think it's definitely like a ghost? Is it like an interdimensional thing, some sort of cosmic horror?
So-
I know you mentioned aliens, and then obviously it could be
from
demonic, I
what
guess.
Mora or I was saying, from Dr. Albrecht's like version of it being, she said this is just a theory, so anything could actually be right. But from her saying that what she does in the film is that they're microscopic organisms that come through the water. So I think the things that we see. Oh, and she says that they can possess people and hurt them. So I think the things we see are all human or were all human at some point, and that have been taken to this other dimension and kind of Hellraiser style have been left there to be tortured for ever, basically. You know, because a little bit later, which we'll get to, she runs out saying we're all being tortured. So like I think that thing is Walter. The guys under the bed, you know, I don't know who they are or what they are, but I think they once were a person because they look so humanoid, but they've been taken over by these microscopic entities and are just kind of doing their bidding now. The boy drank the water. He's a beastie, he's a ghoulie now. You know, like everything else is kind of accounted for by this water theory. Like it could be Clara. One of the long man could be Clara after she's been doused in water from the shower as well. That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's really good because then thinking about it, I haven't had time to fully absorb all the probably countless video essays that will be all over YouTube on it as well. But it's very nice that like you could come away from this, certainly at a first watching, with a supernatural explanation. Is it ghosts? You could have a sci-fi explanation. Are these biological organisms that can warp and control a human body like parasites? Like it's really, really interesting that there's different angles that you can take on this. Makes it richer, and a big fan of it not being explicitly explained in the text of the movie as well.
Yeah. Oh, because there is that one bit as well where Dr. Rosenstock says we're in the nest. Like this is just before Dr. Albrecht gets absolutely whopped by that hand. Like because he's calling her and saying we're in the nest, and she's like, oh, I'm glad you found it. I know you've been looking for it, or words to that effect. So this could be something completely alternate to any of their theories or things that are going on, and it could be this like hive of all these creatures, or where everyone goes when they're taken by these like parasites or things that are in the water. It's like this massive collection point from this dimension. Maybe it's all the dimensions. If it is like the Naranja, like maybe it is all the different segments coming together and they're all different types of creatures, like because they all look kind of humanoid. Maybe you know the guy with the long claw and the fleshy thing, maybe that's from one dimension, and then the long boys are from another dimension, and then you know corpse boy has been brought back by something else because he's kind of undead and he has all this like corpse flesh. You never know.
Yeah, like woodlice, many names for different variations.
Yes, the grandfather.
Grandfather, get him in.
Great ideas, though, definitely. I think a lot of that makes sense.
So we see
Alicia comes in now?
Hanno comes back out as well, right? So he comes out of the kitchen cabinet and he's got his prolapsed eyes.
Yeah.
Funes goes, right, I've had enough of this, and this is where Dr. Albrecht falls out, and we have to speak about this one because her coming, it's him in the car getting ready to escape, and almost
this is after
to
Alicia's collected him, though.
Oh yes, sorry, Alicia's come out and he's gone, my ticker's copying it, and then Alicia, I'm not sure if we've named her, she is the little boy's mother, and she's furious with him that that they've reburied her son. We did hear an answer phone message. We saw an answer phone message earlier that the friend had said, "Tell you what, my son's taped something disturbing. We need to find a way to contact you, tell you what's happened." So she is gone, and then I assume she's drilled him back out of the ground because he's back. He's in the car.
Yeah, unless
Yeah, she got
maybe
him
they didn't
out.
have time to put the concrete in. They had someone coming to do a quote for that. So in the time in the time it's happened, she's gone and got him out.
She's
And
just got him out.
He could have
got him out.
supernaturally got out, and she's just turned up and been like, "Oh, get in."
That's true.
Tell you what, save
I
me the
do
walk, mate.
really-
You've done enough.
Yeah, I do really like how all of these kind of things in the background seem like superfluous story elements, but they do actually all tie together. Like Alicia turning up just at the right moment. That seems a little like, oh, okay, he's just had a heart attack. We're moving the plot on. But it's from, you know, the friend videoing where you think, what's he going to do with that? And he doesn't do anything. And then his mom rings up and is like, oh, my son's video called you. But you only find that out after he's answered the phone and given her the number of
where she is, because they've taken over the house for the investigation, right? So he goes, oh, you can catch her at this number. So they only know that that's why she's looking for her, to basically tell her these things have happened.
Yeah, and then
he's gone,
she finds out. She finds out, goes to the police office, kicks up such a stink that they where he is, and she turns up just at the right time. So it all actually makes sense in the background rather than just being these strange little bits, which I didn't clock that at first. It's like thinking about it afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, that was very tight actually.
In a less effective horror movie, and I think at the moment we're seeing a trend of these things starting to creep up a little bit. For me, horror movies, regardless of genre, 80-90 minutes is bang on, and this film is 84, something like that, 84, 87, something like that.
It's 1 hour 27.
Yeah, look at that, and that's with music. So it's really, really good times for me. We're seeing a lot of things recently. I think some of even the films I've enjoyed, like my critique would be, there are some things that I like. When I'm seeing things that are like 2 hours, 2:10 again coming up, and I can live with a 2 hours 10 movie. I can live with a 3-hour movie if everything about it is essential. But sometimes, quite recently, I've seen films that are quite long, and I think in a less effectively made film, we'll have seen that little boy showing that video to his mom. We'll have had that character trying to make the calls. We'll have seen the scene where she turned up at the police station and made a scene until they told her where her son had been reburied. And we didn't need it. I mean, it's things that you can catch, and it adds value to a second watch to really grasp what's happened. But these are all cool things that you can just go, okay, this has happened out of our point of view. We stayed where the action was, and then these things can develop and it can efficiently tell us what has gone on out of our vision.
Yeah, for sure. The too long movie, like, God bless, I love Terrifier 2, but it did not need to be 2 hours and a bit.
Of course.
Like that, if that were a tight 90 minutes, that would be chef's kiss. But the 2 hours, I think, was they could have done indulgent.
It. I think they could have done it. I think there's a great 85-90 minute movie to be cut out of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just that's what jumps to mind straight away, because, like, I don't know, if I'm watching a 3-hour movie, I'm just not going to watch it, is the truth. I'm not going to watch 3 hours of something, like, unless it's like seminal. I really have to watch it, like put it in front of me, sort of thing. I remember watching like The House That Jack Built and like enjoying it, and it being like a bit of Lars von Trier or whatever, but it didn't need to be as long as it was. It's one of those ones where it's just everything's so indulgent. Like, I just want an hour and a half, like 2 hours at a very massive push. 3 hours it's too much of a film. Like, if I need an interval to get through it, like, I'm not as invested.
Or if you're gonna have the guilt that, oh well, that's the main thing I'm getting done today then, because
like, I respect it and I respect the medium, but I also respect myself and my time. So
yeah, they need to respect your time as well. The same. It's a huge factor, and it drives me. There are some great films that I know are great, like outside of horror, but I have not found the time to watch yet. Like, I really still want to watch The Green Knight. I really still want to watch Dune, but I know they're both quite long, and like, I'm just not sure that, like, it becomes a commitment. You have to plan it to when you're going to get it to watch it as part of your day. It's not like, oh, this is 80 minutes. You know what? That's only a little bit over an hour. I can put that time in.
Yeah, and especially like when you've got loads to do in an evening as well, something you can throw on that's 90 minutes, have it on in the background. The action happens quite fast, so you can keep up with it whilst you're making your tea or something. I know this is sacrilegious to film as an art form, but it's also realistic in it. Like I want something I can cook my pasta to sometimes.
Yeah. The fact is that you live in the real world. Like going to the cinema is one thing, but even then, tell you what, go to cinema. A film's 3 hours long. I ain't getting a dinner in or popping for a drink either side of that. Although it's got to get back. The dogs will have their legs crossed. You got to get back. You can't. Long films are a logistical nightmare.
Dogs on the legs.
Oh, not like the Resident Evil demo again. The dogs are going to be furious with you. Go to cinema, playing games.
I'll tell you what. At least Capcom expect me to do that at home. They didn't say, "Tell you what, Andy, go out, go somewhere that's a 20-minute drive from home." Oh, come on.
Okay.
So, what happens? So, Alicia's got what's his face? The little boy in the back seat. Funes comes out. He wants to go to hospital. Alicia's like, jump on in, take a seat next to my dead son. And he says,
you buried again, and I'm pissed off about, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pissed off that you dug him up again. Well, I'm pissed off that you buried him again. This could go on forever.
Look, we'll agree to disagree. Please take me to the hospital. She goes, I'm going in, actually.
So Funes is like, I'm just going to do it myself, see you later. But what does he do? He doesn't drive himself to hospital. He just drives off for a bit.
He's in the car, but this is where we get the bit from genuinely, that was later lifted for Smile. To be fair to them, it doesn't, she doesn't run up and then her head fall down. She comes running out the house with her head fully bobbling about.
Yeah, it's already gone.
With a broken neck.
Making some freaky noises as well, right?
Incredibly on the money that is exactly what they must have been inspired by. There is no way.
I hope so. I think that's a really neat reference to have dug up again. But the way that she runs out and you can tell something's wrong, but not quite what it is, because you see her come from the door and you're in the car with Funes looking up at a doorway. So already that's quite a small shot. And then you see her, you're like, something's up with her head. It looks like a bit of chewed gum. And then she comes forward running, not just walking, but running. And you realize it's because her neck is bent all the way down and her head's upside down. And Funes is like, get out of here. That's, again, it's such another glimpse of something terrifying.
Didn't you say something like that there's still time to save us, but we are being tortured in this horrible place? You've got to come and do this
tortured.
Thing. Time is a factor here because we are being tortured. Unfortunately, she doesn't actually explain simply and concisely how they can be saved. And he goes, I have just had a heart attack. I'm going to have to go.
I'm going to go park up in a lay-by and talk to me mates on the walkie-talkie.
So he gets there and he goes, Enrique, what's good on it? And Enrique, who is his deputy that wanted to leave earlier on, so we've met him the once. He goes, I'll tell you what.
Oh, is that Guzman?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And I think he's like, oh, so sorry, mate. This, your ex came shouting the odds down at the police station. I had to tell her where you were eventually, so she's headed along. But I've turned up there now myself. Actually, I might go and he's like, no, mate, leave immediately.
Out of there.
0121 as fast as you can, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah. And then we immediately hear some sort of something happening on the other end of the radio. So he's like, I have to get bloody back there, aren't I? Oh dear, I might have just had a heart attack, but I have to go through with it. Overtime.
This heart attack seems secondary at this point. I think it just settled itself.
His eyes were rolling back in his head earlier, and now he's give his head a wobble, got him straight on, and it's like, let's go. So I think it's because he has that moment of I can save them. I'm going to go and do this. Because Enrique says, all right, I am getting out of there. So he has no reason to go back, but he does decide to. Probably he just goes shouting for Alicia as well. So I think he kind of has that moment of, God, I did tell her that she was insane and bury her son twice. So I probably should go and get her out the house.
Yeah, right. I tell you what.
Totally fair, I think, that he said that.
Yeah, so I've had time to reflect on it. I'm going to go and try. I'm going to try and make this right now. I think if I had my time again, would do a couple of these things differently. So I'm going to try and set things right. He gets to the house. Do we see Alicia first, or is it little boy first?
She's in the background of a shot, so you spot her, but he doesn't. So you could miss her.
So he goes to little boy's room. What happens here? Because all of
Oh,
them the door slam, really.
I tell you what, as much as he wants to make things right, he has stopped off down the Shell and got himself a couple of big cans of petrol. He's gone.
I reckon
I
he
tell
only
you
had
what,
them.
I don't know a more technical solution, but you know what will probably put an end to this? I'm just gonna burn it down. And he's wazzing the petrol all over the place. Little boy, he opens that door, and we get another super blink and you'll miss it. He opens the door, and that little kid's just like, he opens the door and he's just there. He's like, fuck, not that one. It's like when Muppet Babies
Pour
open the
some
door.
petrol
And
on the door. He's like,
Pour some petrol on the door. That's the answer to that.
It's up. Petrol in
get
there.
lost.
Did you just say it was like Muppet Babies? And
Yeah, like when Gonzo opens the door and it's like Darth Vader's there or a train's coming or something. It's like, oh fuck, close that.
A train's coming. And that's
Yeah.
when he finds Alicia as well, who's she's only gone and hung herself.
Yeah.
Well,
and he laments that for a minute or two, and then he goes,
might as well burn.
Whack some petrol on you as well, I guess.
He whacked some petrol on her as well. That is, I feel like, I don't know. It seems pretty intense. But just put it around her, I would, not literally have it on you as well, burn you. But he comes outside the house and he's trying to light his matches, and this is a pretty good one as well. Again, have we seen something like this before or afterwards where something's getting blown out? I feel like, is it in The Others with Nicole Kidman? Is there like a moment where somebody blows out a candle or something like that? I don't know. It felt like one of those scares that I've seen before.
The vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's trying to light the matches. They keep going out. Bloody hell. It's a bit, he should get himself a lovely lighter.
Cooks matches.
But no, old Prolapse Eyes appears, and he's the one who's been blowing it out. He's the one who's been blowing it out all along. And is that pretty much it? Is that?
I think we
No,
ends on that bit. He's got him, has he?
He's got the blower. He's blowing them all the matches. He gets out his gun. He shoots the petrol, burns it up.
Right, yeah.
And then they flash back to the police station where this time they're asking Mr. Juan for. It's Juan, right?
Yeah.
The neighbor from the beginning, right? Oh,
yeah,
Mr.
neighbor from the beginning. Yeah, they get him back and are like, we actually need your testimony for this. It's not like official or anything, but can you tell us what they were doing around your house with these freaks? Because this guy's gone and burnt them all alive. Or there's a bunch of people gone missing.
Fugitive as well, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
so
on the run.
They've all gone missing. But Guzman testifies to seeing him burn people in there whilst they were still alive in there. And then Mr. Bulmetti looks down and he's like, did you bring that guy with you?
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
that guy?
And then passed at this point as well, because it said these people came to see you a year ago.
Yeah,
they were the ones who asked. Yeah, it's been a year.
He Juan has been in prison going, I'm getting out soon anyway. I got 3 paranormal investigators on the case.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be free as a bird. 1 year passes. For fuck's sake.
He gets invited for a meeting. He's like, oh, finally.
I'm getting out.
Finally, and then he gets shown all the pictures of the paranormal investigators. He never met Rosenstock, so doesn't know what he looks like. But he pushes the picture and goes, "That's him." But his face is all weird; it's all burned, and then nobody can see anything, so they're not looking from the right perspective. And a chair hits the screen at the end for one last jump scare.
I feel like any other film would have shown us Rosenstock, wouldn't they? But the fact that this doesn't show him is really good, because again, you lean in and you're kind of waiting for something to appear, and yeah, it's the chair that flies towards your camera. It's you straight in the face.
Yeah. Oh, I growled that. Yeah.
Nice, ambiguous, spooky. Everything's kind of fucked ending.
Yeah. I like it. No answers, and yeah, there we go. Then that is Terrified. Shall we play a little bit of Name Game?
Yes.
I'm excited for this.
Why don't we?
Obviously, it's the best part of the show. Sometimes. So basically, we'll describe another film to you using the well, it can be a round robin. I've got some as well. We'll describe a film using the synopsis from Terrified, but slightly alter it, and the answer will be just a play on words, just a film that sounds a little bit like Terrified. All become
Is it
clear.
Terrifier?
No.
Don't worry, they don't have to be real films.
Is it 2 hours and 55 minutes of Terrifier 2? No. Do you want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, go on then, Ben.
I always worry that we're gonna have like similar ones. So
what's the synopsis?
When strange events occur in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires, we'll just say three investigators and a police officer investigate further. I've said investigate too much.
Okay. When paranormal events strike a quiet suburb in Buenos Aires, 3 paranormal investigators go to investigate, only to find out that the entire event has been caused by Ginger Spice doing a big full English breakfast.
Jerry Fried.
Jerry Fried, correct.
Oh!
Whoa! God damn!
Whoa! I understand now.
Jerry Fried an
so
egg.
Bad.
I say
no.
Just scrambled it.
Yeah,
okay.
I went for English breakfast, knowing that would have somehow come up as an aside this week.
Okay, I've got one. When strange events occur in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires, 3 paranormal folks and a police officer investigate how they can get a blue tick on their social media platforms.
Verified.
Verified, correct. You both got it.
Oh my god. Do I have to come up with one?
No,
You don't have to, but you're allowed.
Oh, okay. Can you say the start for me? Because I forgot on the intro already.
Right. So after a number of strange events in a suburb in Buenos Aires, 3 paranormal investigators arrive on the scene to find ...
To find to find Santa Claus choosing a cut of turkey meat.
Oh.
This is really hot. This is I've made this up on the spot. I'm having a go.
Yeah, this is good.
Santa Claus. So it's
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Merry.
Because he's merry. Huh?
Merry?
Merry. And then a cut of bird meat.
Merry thigh.
Yeah.
Merry thigh.
Merry thigh.
That's a merry thigh, that is.
Okay. So
I like it.
After a series of unusual events in a suburb of Buenos Aires, 3 paranormal investigators arrive on the scene only to find that a former Chelsea and England football player has been incredibly dishonest about his extramarital affairs.
Terry lied.
Oh.
Yeah. I would say I was going for Terry lied.
Terry,
but Thierry's good.
As well. For the Arsenal players in there as well.
I hate to be the one to break it to the British and international public, but quite a number of footballers are often quite
a number.
Yeah, quite a number of footballers. Yeah.
Picked up on that.
Yeah. Is someone saying that again properly, Andy? I reckon so. A number of footballers have been unfaithful in their marriages. I'm sorry to let you find out on this.
My favourite part of John Terry copping off with Wayne Bridges' wife is the fact that they ended up sat on the England bench together, like next to each other, like, oh bloody hell, this is awkward. It's awkward for me as well, you know. Okay, we got one more.
You got one more, Ben.
When strange events occur in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires, 3 paranormal people turn up to investigate, and they just get an American talk show host giving his final thought.
Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry what though?
Just Jerry-fied.
Oh, Jerry-fied.
I've not gone too crazy with that. Right.
Have you got any more, Ash? Otherwise, I've got one more in the tank.
Maybe I could do one. God. So when something happens in Buenos Aires and the 3 paranormal people go, "What's up?" They investigate the woman from the Orange is the New Black that constantly has a strange expression.
Oh no.
I don't know.
I don't know if the actors are in that program.
Okay, then they go and investigate. Someone with a very intimidating upper face.
Upper face.
Yeah,
An upper face.
Forehead, brow.
No.
Forehead.
No. I'm really bad at this. So they investigate someone who has a terrifying pair of ocular organs.
Scary eyes.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Right.
A terrifying pair. Your ocular organs are terrifying.
I've got one more for you. When a series of paranormal incidents happen at a popular high street frozen food supermarket, a number of paranormal investigators go along and they warn excuse me, and they warn a former member of Atomic Kitten to conceal herself from the authorities that are on the way.
Kerry Hyde.
Kerry Hyde. Exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, I got one more. It's the last one. You're choking up halfway through that one, Andy. You're getting emotional. Yeah. Okay, when strange events occur
bad ears, sorry. Got a little problem.
When strange events occur in the neighborhood of Buenos Aires, paranormal people say, "What's up?" Borrowing that from you, Ash. And they investigate a fruit-based pastry product.
Pie.
Fruit-based.
Cherry
pied.
Cherry pied. Correct.
Good work, everybody.
That was nice.
Fantastic work from all involved.
10 out of 10.
Well done, everyone. I enjoyed that game. Going to steal it for my podcast now.
Do it.
Yes. That's right. We've not got a copyright on it. Okay, so
what?
Now
legally not licensable. I don't think. You go for it.
Go for it. Maybe give it a better name than the name game.
No, I like it. I'll give a little reference. Be like horror hangout. What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm American on this one, apparently.
No, you got to play to the world audience. We understand.
Yeah.
So now we've got to rate the movie from A to F.
Classic school rankings.
Is it like ass to fantastic or?
No,
I'm just being silly. I was being silly.
Fantastic. Yeah. A to F. You could have minuses and pluses in there. Ash, would you like to go first?
I really like Terrified, and I think it's improved on my second watch. So, I'll see if I have my letterbox open. Then I'll see what I gave it the first time and compare if I got it. Just searching. Kerry Hyde.
Kerry Hyde. Oh, you've got
that's
all
what
the
you would tell her.
Food.
She was
British
there.
tapas. Is she still knocking about on the old Iceland adverts? It's Stacey Solomon now these days, isn't it?
No, I did write it. I did not write it. I think I would have given it a 3.5 back in the day. So what would that be, like a B plus?
Yeah.
That feels generous. I don't know. Maybe it'd be in the B area. I think I'd give it a minus.
A B minus.
An A minus.
An A minus.
A minus.
Wow.
Very
Yeah,
fancy.
That's high, but I do really rate it, and I think it does things cleverly.
Definitely.
I'm always very generous with my scoring. I know I am, but
that's okay.
I'm allowed to be. So
no one's gonna come at you for that here. You can like whatever you like, and also the other secret is you're never gonna run out. You could give every film A plus if you wanted.
I can. Well, no, A minus. It's not A plus. I'd give it A. I'd give it A plus. I'd give it A plus, but I think I'd like a little bit of a tighter story and a couple of slightly less goofy bits, and then it would be A plus. But I enjoy them as is. I think it's perfect as is. But for it to get super high, like it'd have to change slightly. But that would also adjust the tone of the film. So I don't know. But yeah, I think A minus for me.
Honestly, I think I'm going to join you on A minus because initially I had A minus kind of noted down. And that would be quite high for me. I can't remember the last film I'd given an A, let alone a first time watch. But it just really affected me. Like I genuinely was scared in a multitude of ways. I thought it was really well paced for like a nice short film, and yeah, it just resonated with me. It just got me in the places it was supposed to get me. I know what you mean about the plot, but I think for this first watch, where I kind of didn't know what was coming next, I was locked in for the duration. Yeah, really well made. And for a film that could, in terms of the jump scares, I usually get annoyed at jump scares where I'm like, oh, come on.
You should see him actually gets ever so cross.
Oh, he's like,
that's not fair. That's not
It's like someone doing DIY at 5 a.m. That's the kind of reaction he has.
Oh, goodness. Proper 1 hours.
Banging on the wall, yeah.
And I got chills like at least 3 times. Don't know if those chills are multiplying, but
did the willies keep on coming? That's the
the willies kept on coming. I was like, no, I can't, no more willies. But they just kept coming. So for that, I think an A-. Yesterday after watching it, I was a bit like, oh my god, that was like a new favorite of mine. But after discussing it a bit today, I think it's definitely up there. So yeah, A-. What are you saying, Andy?
You know what, might round this out, and I'm happy to say, Ben, it's one of those classic situations where I was probably coming into this on a B+. Spend a couple of hours talking about it with some people, get a little bit more of an appreciation, a few things that you've missed, little lines that you hadn't drawn on your own. Come away liking it even more. So an A- from me as well. Nothing else to add, really. It's really well made. I'm looking forward to watching this again. I don't watch that much a second time because life's real busy, But
I think this is going to be one. Sorry, Andy. I think it's going to be one that I'm going to recommend to other people as well, because sometimes when people know that you've got a horror movie podcast, they go, "Well, what's the best horror film to watch now? What's going to scare me the most?" And I go, "Oh, I'm not sure." And they go, "Oh, you call yourself the expert?" It's like, no, I don't. However,
and once they come at you like that, you say, "Well, fine, your mum. Your mum's the worst scary thing you want to
watch."
Oh my god. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of those I'm going to recommend.
Yeah.
There we go.
What's your guys' favorite horror films? Just because I want to ask a question.
Oh, go on.
What's in your top 3 that you would recommend? If you're saying Aterrados is one that you'd be like, right, this is up there, it's a favorite, I'd recommend it. What are the other ones that you'd put up on that pedestal?
See, it's a good question because
it depends on the
It's
mood.
a big question.
It's different.
I think if I was picking one movie, I'll give you some thinking time, Ben. I'll buy you some time. Okay. I would say big classic, hard to beat, The Thing for me. Absolute favorite. Love The Thing. And then I love a slasher, even though it's objectively bad. I really do like Sleepaway Camp. Probably one of the best first watches you can have for things that are just genuinely surprising. And then, a little bit of British movie love, 28 Days Later, maybe.
That's mine, Andy. I'll give you a bit of thinking time, but I'll also take your answer. Yeah,
You're allowed to say the same, Ben. We spend hours together every week talking about horror films. If our tastes have aligned, we're all good.
Yeah, it probably means you're doing something right if you're both agreeing.
I think it's between like favorites and like ones you'd recommend. I think it's slightly different, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, this is my favorite because of this very specific reason. But I think for me, 20 Days Later, because it just feels like the most gritty, realistic UK set, horrific, like just feels real, doesn't it? It's just like, oh my god, I can wake up and this could happen tomorrow, and that really affects me. And because of like zombies or zombie adjacent stuff, Wreck for me as well is one that has always got me. That final scene is again like gave me chills, like in a similar way to this film did. So yeah, I'd say those would. I mean, I wouldn't even say that like The Thing and Exorcist and all the classics like that are my favorites, but something about zombies and just like a slightly different zombie, like a horrible rage zombie that spews up blood in your face. That's probably it.
And I think I'll be remiss, especially with another one coming out, Evil Dead, original and remake. Both absolute all-timers.
Remake as well.
The Fede
How about you, Ash?
I've only watched it once because it was so intense. Descent is my go-to favorite. I love The Descent and would rate that as like my top big recommend when people ask me for a horror film. Most people, who like horror have seen it, so it's not like a big special one, but I love it. When I was on like my deep cut era, I like or ones that I liked that were a little bit less known, it was Lake Mungo, which isn't super unknown but is one that gets overlooked like in mainstream, I think. And Absentia for Mike Flanagan's like first outing. I loved Absentia, but like for me personally, it would have to be some sort of found footage revelation. Wreck would be really up there for me, as would Incantation recently, and then in general.
I haven't seen that.
So, yeah, Incantation's so good. And then I'm just saying loads of films. I'm having a great time. And then also monster, like nonsense, like the Ritual.
Okay.
You know, the one in the Wall of the Woods. The Ritual would be up there, and Underwater as well. I loved Underwater. Nobody watched
Underwater. It was so good.
Yes, the ending.
Kristen Stewart with a crew cut.
Pardon?
Kristen Stewart with a crew cut.
Oh yeah, she looked good. She looked good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, she did.
But yeah, I think Underwater
all great choices.
Pairs really well with Dredge as a game as well. Just to put that in there from earlier. I think those two. I think I've been thinking about that so much because of Dredge. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up Dredge. Is it console release or is it PC?
I think it's on most things. It's Team 17, so it's like a third party for PlayStation. So I know that it's. I only know the PlayStation releases. I'll be real, but it's out on the 30th of March, so next week.
Cool. I will see what that's on.
Great.
I haven't got to get a PC that can manage with games.
Yeah.
Got a PlayStation, got an Xbox. I'll be fine.
Hell yeah.
And if you're listening, and any of those recommendations from any of us sound up your street, or you're like, oh yeah, I like that film, I want to rewatch it. We've covered like pretty much all of those on this show. So go back, find the episode, watch the film, then find the episode and listen to it. That's a good way of doing it. Nice little double feature like that. Okay, so there we go. That is that. Thanks so much for joining us, Ash. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. I've had such a nice time hanging out with horror.
Yes. TM from Ash.
We're gonna have to do it. We have to steal it. We need a new tagline. Where can our listeners keep up to speed with you, Ash, and your goings on, horror themed or not?
Horror themed or not. So I work full time at PlayStation Access, so you can catch me there at youtube.com/PlayStation Access. Me personally, you can catch me on Twitter at Ash Millman, on Instagram at Ash Millman, on Twitch at Ash Millman, on Discord at some place that's in my links in my bio on one of those other ones. And I think that's everywhere that I put stuff on. There we go.
Awesome. We'll put all the links in the show notes as well. Wonderful. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to our current patrons, including John Crinham, Ben Scaife, Stephen Christopher, Laura Kendrick, Toby Miller, Lane Spencer, Ollie Child, Leslie Carlo, Julia Bilgren, Nick Spill, Troy Birch, Rosalind Harnies, and Pazuzu. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Yeah, thanks, Pazuzu. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. Head over to the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors for more. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Can you believe it? Next week, we'll be starting the April lineup of movies, which we've not quite 100% decided on. But if you follow our socials, we will share the episode lineup on or around the 1st of April. Thanks a lot for listening. Thanks again, Ash.
Thank you.
And thanks, Andy, for being a right horror dude.
Thank you, Ben, and everyone for being right horror dudes. Gender neutral, of course, wherever you are. Bye for now, everybody. Check under your beds, get divans, wax and Mr. Muscle under there to be sure. Stay safe, everyone. See you next week.
Clean your own pants.
Don't eat the forbidden egg.
Ah!
See ya.
Bye.